Little, tiny, itty bitty Richard. There he is. The world's smallest rock star.
Sweet baby Richard.
Such a child he was that he had to be called Little, as to not shock people as he came out on stage. Oh, what a teeny, teeny rock star Little Richard was. The size of a thumb, they say. It's the Bennington Show. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
Perhaps a big announcement later on, Chris Stanley?
Yeah.
Is it about the New York Football Giants?
Not yet. But if you were following Periscope, you saw me training this morning.
How'd you feel about your morning train?
I felt good. I mean, this knee feels loosey-goosey, and that's a good thing.
It
Not
seems,
too loose, though, right?
No, not too loose.
Not flopping around out there.
No, I had my training session.
seems as though it's not even attached.
I had a training session with Vito this morning. He was working over the knee.
Can we just call them sessions from now on instead of training sessions?
Okay.
There's Michelle with one L, and she's blowing us a kiss. Well, you're always welcome. You're always welcome to come in. Yes. But we don't see her much lately.
We really don't.
No. Perhaps our only friend in this building.
She does like to swing by and go, I'm coming by later.
She never does.
She never does.
I heard she's dating another show.
That hurts me.
Oh, today is Fun Guest Day. Louis J. Gomez and Dave Smith are ready to start a world tour. And they're going to stop by and make some big announcements. But they are coming to a comedy club or pavilion near you.
You go to legionofskanks.com for tickets on additional and all their dates.
An additional and all their dates.
That was a misnomer.
You know why? Because you're so busy training sessions.
I know. That's where your priorities are.
I'm worried
now.
about my body, not my mind so much these days.
Smart.
It seems like Vito is really working that knee for you.
Oh, boy. He's working it all right.
He's got magic hands.
Yeah, he does.
I do my best.
Oh, boy.
Doesn't he?
And also, we'll be talking to Mr. Paul Feig, our good friend and perhaps the greatest living comedy director. I don't want to hurt the souls of some people in the past, but he did the Ghostbuster show, the big Ghostbuster show. And I forgot to tell you this, Gail, but some of your favorite New York One personalities are in it.
You're kidding
No,
me.
it's a little Valentine to New York. The people that are saying the ghost problems. It's the two nuts in the morning on the Fox. What are they called? It's
Fox and Friends?
No, not Fox and Friends.
Oh, Ray Kelly.
Roseanne Scotto and Greg Kelly.
Thank you. Ray Kelly is a police commissioner. Why are you blurting out answers rather than just waiting? You yell, "Oh, Ray Kelly," as if this were a game show.
When I don't know the answers, I don't say anything, right?
Milkshake. Chocolate milkshake. It was a chocolate milkshake. That's all I'm saying.
Black and white?
I saw you eating Chipotle last night.
That was my last burrito before, training started. This is day one. Day one of 15 days of the road to the
Why did you make
NFL.
yesterday? You had 16 days.
You knew how limited time was.
So we got Paul Feig and 2/3 of the Skanks, Louis J. Gomez and Dave Smith. But the big story seems to be the outrage over an Instagram picture with Victoria Beckham.
Yeah, so Victoria Beckham posts a picture of her and her daughter, and they're in a pool together, and she's giving her daughter a kiss. She posts this on Instagram, and it is immediately, people are outraged because she is kissing her daughter on the lips.
That's insane to me.
So there's the photo, and it's causing this huge debate. People who are saying this is disgusting, this is gross, who would ever do this? And then people saying, look, people do this all the time. So now people are arguing.
People who are disgusted by breastfeeding. It's the same thing. This is the way their family shows affection.
Yes, this is, look, not all families kiss on the lips.
Right.
Some families do. Some families don't. But
some families stop at a certain age.
Exactly.
Some families never do.
This girl's not 16. She is a toddler. She's very young.
She's not even wearing a shirt in the water.
Exactly. And I have to wonder, are people saying that this is uncomfortable, weird, or sexual because Victoria Beckham is attractive? Like, if this was not an attractive woman, would you go, For some reason, I find this sexually uncomfortable.
All right, so we're saying a hayseed and hayseed offspring. That wouldn't make the news, so I wouldn't get a chance to see it. Now, Vito, you grew up Italian, a lot of kissing on the lips.
Yeah, but I've always found it very, very disgusting when people kiss their children, and I just think it's like when Kobe kissed his kid on the mouth when he retired. It made me sick a little inside. Like my cousin kissed me.
This is how much we've been hit with the abuse stuff that we now see any affection as being abuse. We're fucking nuts.
Yeah,
in this country.
People are so ready to jump on something and tell someone else, this is uncomfortable because it's uncomfortable for me. It's not like that child said she's uncomfortable. It's not that Victoria Beckham is uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable.
I had uncles that kissed on the mouth when I was a little kid. And all the old ladies kissed me right on the mouth. Some squeezing my face to purposely pucker. And then I had Southerners who would say, give me sugar. And they'd leave their lips there for a while. And I was, as a little kid, was kissed by elderly women enough that I felt stray hairs go across my face. What are you going to do?
It's very common. And of course, there is an age where it becomes uncomfortable. where you're like, okay, I no longer want to be kissed on the mouth by extended family.
I had an uncomfortable thing. I was, during my vacation, we had had an Airbnb, and I'm laying out on the lawn, just enjoying the shade. And Gail's dog Birdie comes over, makes out with my mouth, and then turns around for an inside spoon. What? I never had a dog just lean up against me and was just like cuddling in. And I'm like, this is fucking nuts.
She started off by Frenching him, and then she decided
she wanted to. Do you kiss your dog on the mouth?
I do kiss my dog on the mouth.
It's terrible. That dog it kissed my mouth, and it was just terrible.
Jesus.
Yeah, but it's a sign. It's a true sign of affection. It's like,
yes, I'm very aware of that. I think too much. And the inside spooning to somebody?
I'm not sure. She does do that weird inside spoon where she basically throws her back at you and then lays down like, now cuddle me this
I'm
way.
glad that didn't make Instagram. I'd be in trouble with PETA.
But yeah, I don't know why it is that people, look, you want to have whatever rules of comfortability within your own family, but why say to someone else's family, don't do that, that's weird for me.
Can I also say this? We just had all these police shootings and police getting shot. There's so much more for you to worry about than a little millionaire baby kissing her beautiful pop star mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the luckiest kid we have.
Yeah,
there's no kid luckier than this.
She's doing very well for herself. But it's similar, because this is not the first time this has happened. I think it was maybe like earlier this year, a man had put out a picture. It was actually a woman was the photographer, and she's the mother. And she took a photo of her husband showering with their son because he was very sick. And so the son is sitting on his lap and he's cradling his son, who again is under 4 years old, most likely. And then it was like taken off of Facebook when it was shared, and people were so incredibly uncomfortable with the idea of a father being in the shower with his son when he was sick and he was just trying to make him well. So there's like a very weird thing that happens.
We're nuts. We're out of our minds.
Crazy.
But again, why share anything with the world? Why share your family photos with the world? Let's say this. If you have a show and you're trying to promote it, put it on Instagram. I totally get why Blink 182 is releasing a lot of fucking pictures this week. New album out. The Ghostbusters should have plenty of pictures out. But why anybody needs to show them and their kid in a pool is beyond me.
I don't know. I guess that's just the temperature of the way things are now.
We're nuts.
Yeah.
We're fucking nuts.
She just wants likes on Instagram.
Gail's nephew, who now plays in what's known as the 9th Street Band, he wanted to go on Periscope and take requests from people and play songs. And his mom said, absolutely not.
Too many weirdos?
Too many weirdos. And I'm like, I don't know if you should even worry about that. You know what I mean? He's a tall, gangly kid. This is not... He's not in his sweet spot. I'm sure when he's 17 or 18 and
Yeah.
he starts to catch up, the torso
Sure.
catches up with the legs and the arms, the gals are going to be after him.
Yeah,
This isn't the age.
there's a safe space for children where you get very awkward.
Yes.
And they're fine during that time.
The era that scientists called buck teeth and elbows. And it's just a, Mom, are we getting a dog or not?
Uncle Ron.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. Let him go in the scope. I know a guy on there that's been scoping himself getting ready for the Giants.
Yeah. I'm going to get into that guy in training camp.
I know you don't want to leave the city,
No.
but suppose the Jets want you.
Yeah.
Would you play for the Jets?
No. I'm a New York Giants guy. Okay? New York Football Giants. Place kicker. Chris Stanley.
I think it's a mistake not to leave your options open.
I think it's a mistake to settle for the Jets.
Okay.
Fuck that.
All right. I got it. All right, here's one for you. Now, Lena Dunham says she's very proud of her old college because the kids at her old college are fighting against sushi and I believe Mexican food because it's cultural appropriation.
Yeah, so
and you have no right to those foods.
so it was the reason is at their campus.
Banh mi was the other one.
Banh mi and sushi being served in the dining hall. Cultural appropriation, they want it stopped.
So I was culturally appropriating a burrito yesterday.
Exactly right.
Yes.
Are you wrong to eat the food from a culture? And I guess if it's not prepared by that culture, that's what they're saying. That there's...
Okay, well, there are Mexicans cooking all of your food. So most of the time, whatever culture you have,
You're eating Mexican food.
Yeah, because they're the ones who are the best cooks. They're the people who make your food. So that's crazy to say that.
It is even true in New York. If you go to a Chinese place and you look in the kitchen, there's Mexicans making Chinese food. Now, they're using the exact Chinese recipes, but they work hard and a lot of times under the table, and people are glad to have them in the restaurant business. So, yes, it's always cultural appropriation. But she's nuts to say this. I mean, I could get why some young freshman is still trying to figure out the world and wants to protest something. I think that's the time and place for it. Go to your school and act stupid.
Yeah, particularly in the same interview, she's talking about, oh my God, I love Jell-O and I serve Jell-O at parties because I think it's
That's
funny.
Utah food.
I like fast food. Is this you appropriating being of a lower culture? I mean, she was a rich kid from the Upper East Side. That's like saying, are you mocking being poor by eating that kind of food? That's nuts.
Yeah, everything about this is nuts. First of all, we've talked about this before. We hate the word cultural appropriation.
It's really annoying.
Except for Chris Stanley.
Yeah. Love it.
Why? What are you worried about?
I just don't want to see cultures exploited. That's my thing, okay? So me and Leah Dunham, we're peas in a pod on this one.
You're buying so many Chinese fucking t-shirts right now.
Yeah, that actually might be an appropriate way to use it.
But banh mi is fucking food that society, by the way, is a cultural appropriation of French cuisine.
Yes.
And probably Chinese. You know, I know it's Korean, or Vietnamese, but I don't know where they got their food. I don't know where any of us got our food. Our food is moved around the world through many different recipes.
You want to start sending the food back to each culture? You want Vito to take pizza away from us? I don't want
I don't believe pizza belongs to the Italians. I forget who it was. I think maybe Egyptians or something.
Oh, really?
Italians didn't come up with. They were the original cultural appropriators. They went around conquering people and bringing their stuff back.
Right, true.
And they're like, what are we going to do with all these pizza ovens? I don't know. Let's see if we can't make some pizza with it. You know what I'm saying?
Awful.
Brooklyn style.
Like some real Brooklyn pizza.
You got to do this Brooklyn style, right? Where you get the gravy on the top of it and some cheese.
You got to sop it up.
And then we're culturally appropriating their fun way of talking.
Mm-hmm.
But no one knows, like even a family recipe, it's doubtful that your great-grandmother sat around and experimented in the kitchen. She might have got it from, a mother-in-law herself.
Right.
There was this cookbook I was reading one time. So the woman was making a roast beef and she's teaching her daughter, here's what you do. You cut off each end of the roast beef, and then you put it in the oven. And she's like, Mom, why do we cut off the roast beef? She goes, that's the way we always did it. I got it from my mother. She goes to the grandmother and says, why do you cut off the ends of the roast beef? She says, oh, that's what you got to do. Makes it really good. You got to cut off the ends. My mother taught me that. So she went to see her great-grandmother and said to her great-grandmother, why do we cut off the ends of the roast beef? She goes, I just had that little pot. And this is supposedly a true story, and it goes to show where these things come from that are thought of as tradition. You know what I mean? But really, it's like what people were just doing in that one circumstance. No one has a right, I don't think, to even their home food or their dress. Here's one thing I don't think is right. I was invited to a thing a long time ago, and it was some kind of Indian ritual. And I go, who's, running this thing? And they said, well, this woman she's not even Indian. I don't think people should sit around and pretend they're having a Catholic mass. You know what I mean? Like there's something, and I think people do that we're going to do the Indian fire ceremony. Well, is there, a medicine man here? Is there a chief here? Or else you're just really doing somebody else's religion. I don't want to just act like me and my friends can get together and have a Jewish ceremony somewhere.
Oh, no, I baptized him. I did it.
I want to walk in circles and tell everybody I'm trying to be nice to Muslims. I never got that thing that they do. Did you ever see the Mecca? And that thing that they yell out the whole time? Mecca, Mecca high, Mecca hiney ho. I don't even know what that means.
A giant black cube. They could do that in National Place.
You're fucking, seriously. You're a racist. No. That's why you're voting for Trump.
That one moves. It's awesome.
It's weird because you're against cultural appropriation, but you are a racist. How does that work?
He's not so much a racist. He likes race jokes.
But so in that case, in terms of maybe using someone's religion, is there any other place you think that cultural appropriation actually does apply?
Dreadlocks.
Feel great.
That seems to be a big one. People get upset about dreadlocks. They get really pissed about that. No, I don't think that you have. And again, if you want to do it, you can pretend you're doing somebody else's religious ceremony. It's just that I'm probably not going to do it with you. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to stop people from doing their own Indian smoke ceremony when there's no Indians there.
But it's strange. Why now did this become a term and a problem for some people? It seems like the rules changed because there was a time where if you didn't learn about other cultures, try to experience what they live like, travel, eat their food, try to walk a mile in their shoes.
All this comes from colleges, and it's because they have so much freedom now. They need more things to bitch about. But you know what I mean? Like they don't have something big to stop.
But I don't remember that being a conversation when I was in college.
Well, you had a war going on. So you had other things to keep you going. Right now, the war coverage is down. You have a black president and a woman running for president. What are they supposed to do to make their own? I guess probably not letting people eat banh mi, which is delicious.
Never
There's one right across the street, and I might go get one now.
You should protest it.
So good.
But I don't mind people acting stupid at school as long as the school's away from regular people. Go out in your school and just be really stupid weird. About whatever. Be PCU. I don't care. But certainly, I think anybody should be able to wear any clothes they want to wear. I mean, that's ridiculous to me. Or else white people should say no one should wear pants but us. Oh, and by the way, don't look at the moon. We landed there. And that's white men. Only white men should be able to look at the moon now.
Can I look at the moon?
Through a welding glass as to not burn your eyes.
That's how the white woman can watch it.
As a joke, when there was a lunar eclipse, I got a pair of binoculars and put them up while everybody in my neighborhood ran at me. And I was going like this with them. And everyone came running. Put us down! They told us in school! I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And it was to a small, select group. And that's what I'm after, a small, select group. Paul Feig going to be here a little later on, as well as 2/3 of the Skanks. And Chris, you're going to make an announcement today, or you don't know yet?
I'm very close to knowing that I'm going to make an announcement. Going back and forth with some emails, but it's
Does
very
it mean
fun.
you're going to be punting too?
No, I told you yesterday, not going to punt, just place kicking.
Tell me a lot of things every day, and most of them are lies or wishful thinking.
This is real. I'm training. I'm going to have another training session later today. You saw one this morning. You saw yesterday my last burrito, my last culturally appropriated burrito. Nothing but American food for me. Food for the white man. That's what I want.
Someone wrote to me, Lena isn't bitching. She's just saying right on for the girls making an issue. That's the same thing.
Yeah, that is the same thing. She's saying that she agrees with it.
Yeah, girls. Go get them.
Destroy those bottomies.
I don't think it was women, by the way. I think it was a group.
Was it?
No,
I bet it was.
it wasn't.
I thought she went to an all-girls art school.
Maybe she did. I don't know.
Bum, 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 bum. All right, this up on the iBang now. They've done a study, and this happens about once a year. Which NFL teams have the best fan base? Which NFL teams have the best fan base? Chris Stanley, what do you think?
The Oakland Raiders.
Really?
Yeah.
What makes them so great?
I feel like if you watch an Oakland game, that's the craziest stadium that you'll see on TV.
Well, you're going to see LARPers, but I don't know if that makes you a good fan that you dress up. I always felt like a lot of those people, whether it was them or the pigs in Washington when they used to do that, the hogs.
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of those people try to get the attention for themselves. Like, it isn't about the team. It's like, look at me. I'm wearing fucking studs on my shoulder. What do you think?
I'm going to say the Green Bay Packers.
That's a damn good fan base. I know when I lived in Tampa and Green Bay didn't even actually have that good of a team then. They weren't, And when you went to a Packers game, it was an away game for Tampa in their own house. Those people would fly down, 30, 40,000 of them, buy up the tickets.
Jesus.
And this happens every week in the NFL anyway. Dallas looks like they're playing an away game every week because they have that giant stadium with expensive seats and they're selling them. All right. What do you say, Gail?
I would have to say the Eagles because they've been through so much and they don't give up. Like, I think that to be a great fan base, you can't have a team that is constantly winning.
Or ever winning.
Yes.
In the case of Philadelphia, they've never won, which is terrible. But they're all awful people in Philadelphia. I mean, they're just the worst possible people that you can imagine.
Not best as humans. Best.
Yes. Okay, good fans, not good human beings. It used to be Dallas. I don't know if it is anymore. I know the Steeler Nation seems to be big wherever you go.
Browns fans.
Now we're just going to mention every single NFL team. Cincinnati. Jacksonville. It's unbelievable.
Definitely.
They got a pool. By your way of going, the fact that they have a pool makes them good fans.
I kind of like that.
All right, who's got the answer to this?
All right.
All right. What do we got?
All right. So you want number one first or you want top five?
Well, let's go top five.
All right. So we'll start at number 5, the Eagles.
Is that right?
Whoa.
It surprises
number 5,
me.
the Eagles.
And I'm going to guess everyone above them has a reason to cheer.
Number 4, 49ers. 49ers fans.
Really?
I would disagree, particularly how bad they got with their coach and their quarterback when they didn't win.
I think they suck, to be totally honest. And now they're on a candlestick.
What are they basing this on, by the way?
I think that
How
they're...
nice your car is?
Yeah, it's like how many people show up, ticket sales.
Is it pricing as well?
Yeah, pricing comes into play.
Well, that throws Oakland out. I think you can go to an Oakland thing for 2 coupons and a sandwich. You can sit the 50-yard line in Oakland. All right. So we got Philadelphia, which it's a little bit surprising to me. 4 is the 49ers. Who's 3?
The Broncos.
Broncos have a very loyal. It's a place that you got to win. But the weird thing about it is you can drive 900 miles and still see Bronco signs. I mean, it's the largest in terms of space for fans. When you're in Montana, they're watching that game. I think even if you're in Western Oregon or Western Washington or Eastern, they're watching the games.
Not even Seahawks fans. That's weird.
No, because like I said, these are people that, that's their kind of home city. Go ahead.
All right, number 2, Cowboys. As you mentioned, maybe at one time had been number 1. Now number 2.
Have any of us mentioned the number 1? It's got to be Steelers.
No.
Who is it?
Number 1, Patriots.
Oh, okay. Bandwagon. Forgot the bandwagon.
The Patriots, the Cowboys of fucking the last 20 years.
Oh, yeah. Ever since Tommy Braids.
Nothing but winning fucking Super Bowls.
It's fucking wicked good. Everything's great for us when fucking Brady plays. Deflating balls and kicking them. Fuck it. Oh, I forgot. Well, it is a great way to know who you hate if it's a Patriots fan who didn't grow up in New England. And I even think the people of New England would agree with me there. That no one has a right to that team. Unless you're from I was going to say Rhode Island but we'll throw in that eastern part of Connecticut where everything gets weird.
Those guys are Sox fans too, right?
But it's nuts if someone grows up in Indiana and they fucking like the Patriots. I've always hated that.
Love Brady.
When I was a kid, my dad was a bandwagon jumper, so I jumped with him. We'd sit and we'd watch Brady win. We'd love it.
Remember Brady and Moss?
Who do you think has the worst fans?
Well, you're going to have to take the shittiest team. I'm going to say Jacksonville has I would say all the worst fans are probably in Florida. Tampa, Jacksonville, and Miami. Yeah. Miami was good for many years, but the last 15 have been...
I always thought Dolphins fans were kind of...
Iffy?
Yeah, iffy.
You know why?
Fair weather.
Well, yes, because they live in fair weather. There's no reason for them to go, right? When you grow up in Cleveland, you have to hold on to something near and dear to you. You're like, I got nothing here. Please let LeBron come back.
Falcons fans seem pretty shitty.
Look, Florida and Georgia, Tennessee, these are college football fans. They show up and they support their college football in ways that the Northeast couldn't even understand.
I don't understand it.
There's only one. I mean, you got BC and then maybe Syracuse is the only things in the Northeast. And none of them you could really call powerhouse fucking teams. They just play on a decent schedule. But no, those are college. That's college football area. The Florida supports college football like you wouldn't believe. They could give 2 shits about fucking pro football.
Then why do they get 3 teams? It's ridiculous.
Well, they got a nice long state, Chris.
Yeah.
You got fucking 2 teams sharing a stadium.
That's right, baby.
You're not exactly being honest here.
Well, I'm part of one of the organizations, or soon to be. I'm going to be an employee of them.
We'll see.
Let me see if this even works today. Hey, Jay in Connecticut.
What's up, Ronnie?
Hey, buddy.
I think the worst fans are the Bills fans. They got that whole Bills Mafia thing going on where they're smashing tables over each other's backs and getting drunk and having sex in parking lots. They're
that
crazy.
Makes you a good fan.
Oh.
You're confused about what... I mean, if Philly's only come in at number 5 and you can get beat up there pretty badly for wearing a Giants or a Redskins shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we're the Redskins fans. They're the most optimistic I've ever been around.
Let's see. And they're very obsessive. According to this list, number 16, they put the Redskins fans.
Wow. I disagree. They're pretty crazy.
That would have been my next guess after Eagles. Like, I would have assumed that it was high, because I've seen that in action, and they're crazy. I mean, they do some magical thinking down there.
They do. They believe. They always think it's the fucking 70s or early 80s.
They believe in Kirk Cousins. Doesn't make any sense.
I'm starting to believe it.
No, don't.
Seems right.
No.
Let's go over here to Kevin in Wisconsin. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Ronnie. The best fans got to be the Packers, just on the fact that in 1993, when I got married, me and my wife got on the season ticket waiting list, and each year we get an update as far as where we're sitting. And this year we're still number 16,353 or something like that.
You know what the problem of keeping them off of this is the fucking cheese thing on their heads. You're wearing a big fucking wheel of cheese. You look like a moron. So bad that the quarterback won't even talk to his own family anymore.
Good.
I got that off the. Have you seen this? They're showing the clips on ESPN. His lookalike brother, Aaron Rodgers' lookalike brother. I think his name is Baron Rodgers. He's like, I don't really have much contact with my brother. I chose my parents, and he doesn't want to come around anymore. I guess he doesn't want to share money with anyone. So, and this guy looks exactly like Aaron Rodgers. It's fucking crazy.
Holy shit. That's wow, that guy looks exactly like Aaron Rodgers. That's
with
weird.
better hair. He has better hair than Aaron Rodgers.
That's great hair.
Didn't he QB somewhere too? A college? You don't have to look it up. Forget about it. You didn't know. You sent the story in, right?
Yeah, I didn't know anything
But
about
then you
old
didn't
Jordan.
read it.
I didn't know anything about old Jordan.
What's his name?
Jordan Rodgers.
You think he's going to win Bachelor?
I think he's got a good chance. It's all about these final rows and secret date competitions, you know?
Jesus H. Christ.
I heard that people are really having trouble telling those guys apart.
He signed with the Jaguars, the Bucks, and the Dolphins.
Wow. So he played.
Yeah. And then the BC Lions in the CFL.
Steve, Long Island.
Hey, man. A couple of things before I get into my point. That list really appeals to the big market, so I would take that with a grain of salt, you know?
No.
Secondly, two underrated fan bases that are great that don't really have a national following. One is the Baltimore Ravens. Those are some really good fans. And two, Cincinnati Bengals, because for years they had to deal with the worst team in forever, and now the fans still support the team. Mike Brown screwed Cincinnati with tax money, and they're still, and they're just very calm fans. Not too calm, not too rowdy. They're just right in the middle.
I got news
think
for
that's
you.
what makes it great about them.
If someone even asked me to start listing teams, it would take me so long before I got to Cincinnati. Always forget about them and their helmets. Now, Baltimore is very interesting because they were great Colts fans. And they have the one thing I like about them, they have the dumb band that comes and plays and does and then they switched over and became great Ravens fans, which makes them Browns fans in the weirdest way. Let me go to Matt. Matt, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Bennington, how's it going? Love your show.
That's good.
Down here in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm originally from Boston. I grew up a Patriots fan. But as far as, we have a big bandwagon and everything up there. People that jump on and off all the time. As far as the worst team goes, outside of the Dolphins, you guys were talking about that. That's pretty bad. But down here in Charleston, you see Dallas Cowboys everywhere. You see license plates, T-shirts, jerseys, and I really don't understand the appeal of the Cowboys fans being all over the place.
They're all over the country. I mean, you're not going to... The governor of New Jersey, who's in charge of the stadium, is a Cowboys fan, crossed the river into Philly, was rooting against them, and all South Jersey is Phillies. Eagles. Phillies and Eagles fans. So you run into Cowboys fans everywhere you go. You can tell when people grow up. If they grew up in the 70s, they probably are like, I like the Cowboys. Because when I was little, I saw that star on their helmet. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking easy to love a star on a helmet, isn't it? It's fucking harder to sit with a team that's been playing for 50 years without a fucking Super Bowl. There's a real fan.
Maybe they should grow out of it. Look, I had a Raiders fucking raincoat. Slept in it because I like a goddamn Raider helmet. I'm a Giants fan, though. Grow out of the Cowboys love because you're just a little kid.
Did you cheer when the Raiders won anything?
No. I just like the...
You done with them?
I'm done with the Raiders. I'm
what
a Giants
age?
boy.
When Lawrence fucking Taylor started to play? Then you're like, I don't like the Raiders anymore. I like the Giants. See, to me, you take a fucking bum like this Vito. He's a true fan. He sticks with the Mets instead of going to the Yankees.
And the Jets.
Oh, God.
Poor bastard.
Who else you like? The Nets?
No.
I don't like the Nets.
You have to. Come on.
I stop there.
You can't. It's all or nothing.
Sign off on it, man. I'm Yankees, Knicks, Giants.
You know why I don't cheer for one New York team?
What's that?
Cultural appropriation. I'm not going to do it.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm going to stay with my losing side and just be like, and then look, I can't tell you how good it is when your team that always loses wins. There's an excitement level people couldn't understand.
Oh yeah, you can't. It can't really be compared.
But then I had some people try to culturally appropriate me, and I'm like, look,
come on,
I don't want to fucking sit around and talk pitching with you, you piece of garbage. Go back to where you belong.
You fucking appropriator.
Chris, I'll handle my own arguments.
Okay,
you weren't even part of it.
Just saying, it got me riled up.
And you know what? Let me just say this about cultural appropriations. Everyone got everything from the white man, and that's not fucking anything but truth. So, well, one thing. I gotta say this. White people were terrible with peanut butter. We couldn't do shit with the peanuts. Thank you. We be eating jelly sandwiches like 3-year-olds right now.
Just jelly on bread.
I really would always feel embarrassed when that would come up during Black History Month. I'd be saying to people, why are we so fucking stupid with peanuts? You don't fucking do anything with a peanut? You know what that is? That's a desire to win. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was proud of myself for feeling that upset. And then they would try to say, hey, do you want to taste some of this peanut butter during the thing? I go like this. No. And the teacher would be like, why? Everyone's getting a little piece of peanut butter. I go, I don't even deserve it.
Wow, you took it really seriously.
Everyone should. I don't know what happened with white people and peanuts. Fucking morons.
We blew them off, I think.
Bibles of mine.
Yeah.
They took a look at a peanut. Nothing could be done with it.
Derek in Atlanta.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh, so good.
Awesome. Sounds just like me. I grew up in Arizona originally, and then for military, I moved out to Georgia. And everywhere I go, I see Steelers everywhere.
Yeah, it's true.
And me being a Steelers fan myself, and I see other people, man, they are so cocky about, oh, we have this many Super Bowl wins, we have this, but the quarterback's a rapist, and all these other things that go on. I believe that they're just way too cocky for being.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people were forced to move out of Pittsburgh, and I don't hold it against them that they are still Pittsburgh fans. There's Pittsburgh Steeler bars everywhere. But I have no respect for people who just jumped onto them because of the 4 rings in the 70s. That's bullshit. And the 2 rings.
Yeah, I totally agree. My dad's been a fan forever, and I kind of just grew up in it. And I think that earlier time is when people are like, oh, so you've been a fan since then.
Here's what I think, though. Here's what I think in your unique case. I think you have every right to cheer with your dad, but then you got to keep your mouth shut when you leave the house because you have no connection. You and your dad sit there and have a secret fandom for Pittsburgh. This is why he makes such a great fucking judge. You know what I mean? Like, I would make that decision in the courtroom, and everybody would go like this. Of course. God damn it. Yeah. I mean, he shouldn't give up cheering with his dad, but he can't wear that shirt to the mall. You know?
It's fair.
It's not only fair, it's perfect. Vito gets to be a Mets fan, even though he's from the West Side and not Queens. You know why?
Why?
Who would choose the Mets? That had the choice.
I just got my mom got free tickets when I was a little kid, and it was all from there.
God. Well, now you're an adult. You see, she made a mistake. You see why she got free tickets. Did you see Doc and Daryl yet?
No, that's Thursday night.
Yep, Thursday at 9 p.m.
I'm sorry, you don't get to see things in advance like me. You didn't go to Ghostbusters already.
No.
Mm-mm.
You're not going to the Berbiglia film tomorrow.
No.
You know, you have every right to. All you guys. We're supposed to see films even if we don't have somebody coming in.
I know.
You know what, Vito? You're going to be in charge of that. I've been telling Chris this for years. Vito, this is going to be a new thing for you to make sure you get tickets to stuff for all of us.
All right,
everybody.
I'll be the movie guy.
And then sometimes you go like this, hey, I know we're not going to have anybody coming in, but we should plan a show party to go to see Star Wars. Star Wars 2, Rogue Nation.
That would be really fun. We could go to the midnight screening together.
No. We don't go to midnight screenings. We go to beautiful screening rooms where there's couches and people and we watch it with local critics.
Yes.
And there's room.
Who are quietly scribbling notes next to you.
One of those guys wears a Red Sox hat to everything, too. I forget his name, but he's like a long-time NBC guy or something. I'm going to guess his name is Bill Nye, the Science Guy.
It's Bill Nye.
Bill.
Dan, Florida. Dan.
Hey, buddies.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, I coach baseball with this dude who's a diehard Yankee fan, but pulls for the Cowboys. Explain to me how the fuck that happens and why he doesn't get the fuck beat out of him growing up. Like, how does that happen? How do you grow up in New York and pull for the Yankees and not pull for the Giants and pull for the Cowboys? It just makes no sense.
Well, first of all, I agree with you that makes no sense, and I know somebody like that. Fez's brother. Fez's brother grew up in Florida, picked the Yankees, cherry-picked the Yankees, and cherry-picked the Cowboys.
He's not a Bucks fan?
No.
Holy shit.
No. I think Fez is the only true Bucks fan in that family.
And he is a true fan.
Well, because he had the bathroom done that way. He turned on him a couple years ago, but I think he's back on with him. But, he did have the Buccaneers bathroom.
Yes.
But his other brother, is more of a college football fan. That's really nuts when you're like, oh, I hope this 20-year-old boy is good. You know what I mean? That just really makes you insane.
It's like the boosters and shit, too. It's really weird.
Yes, with the boosters.
But Fez has true Pewter pride.
I think he does. I know he never picked another team over them, but he was upset with them for a couple of years. I forget what it was.
I think he stopped watching also. He wouldn't refuse to watch Bucks games.
Was it because they didn't take the gay guy or something?
No, I think that was all of football. I think, didn't he stop?
Yeah.
He stopped watching a whole season of football.
Yeah.
Because of Michael.
I think he watched the Super Bowl. It was the first game that he watched. That's just so I could see the commercials. He's very much into this election. You guys keeping up? We're going to have a VP for Trump by Friday.
Who will it be?
It looks like it to me, I think, and I hate to say it, Newt, which seems dull as dish.
Really? He's going to take Newt?
Yeah.
That's dull.
He's trying to please old Republicans. He hasn't gotten the whole Republican thing together. Somebody wrote to me today, do you really think Trump has a chance? And I would say this. Normally, I would say this is the worst campaign that I've ever seen someone run from just nothing to do with issues at all, but just do you have your people in this state and that state? Have you lined up your advertising? From that point of view, it looks like it's awful. But he's run this whole thing off of social media up to this point. Who am I to say? Maybe this is just the new game changer, that social media is more important than media. But you still have to physically get people out, and that's what they call a ground game. That you have people in certain counties to go pick up old people at their house and drive them.
Right.
That's how people, believe it or not, win national elections, by winning one county in, let's say, Ohio by 3 more points than you were supposed to win by. You know what I mean? That's the way you win. So on that level, any expert would say this Trump campaign seems to be chaos. But social media has never been all that big until now. Maybe Trump is 100% right. I don't know. Vito, I know you're a Trump guy. How do you feel about Newt?
I don't know. I don't really know anything about Newt Gingrich, but
would you rather see him with Chris Christie?
Yeah, because I'm a New York guy, and Christie's right over the bridge, so I'm really used to him.
I know, but if you're really trying to say what is the right thing to do correctly,
it's not Chris Christie.
I want to see a big man in the White House.
Well, you say it's not Chris Christie. I'll say this. Would he do a great job as a VP? I believe that he would, particularly for Trump. He's like Trump. He's going to fight like Trump. He's going to give a pop-in convention speech. He's done big speeches before. And He's going to be hilarious in the debate, and he'll be out there. I mean, he crushed little Marco in the debate. He's the one who ended the career of Marco Rubio, not Donald Trump. You know, he mauled that fucking dude, and everything fell out for Marco since then. So I don't necessarily think Trump and Christie would be a bad team anyway. I think they're going to look like kind of a new version of the Rockers.
What?
Or maybe Haystack Calhoun and Tony Correa, where after every match, when Haystack did the big splash and was laying on top of him, Tony Correa would come off the ropes and jump on his back and put his hands up in the air.
Sure. What do you think about Ivanka? They were floating that idea for a little while.
Anyone floating that idea is not anyone who had anything to talk about. No one is going to say Ivanka.
What about this?
Even though she's great, and I think she could have any career that she wanted to have, I think the idea of a family presidency would be very strange. After he even said, if this one wasn't my daughter, you know what I'm saying, guys?
Look at her.
Yeah. Let me bring out Tits McGee to back me up. No, I honestly think Christie would do a couple things very well. Now, he might, say something crazy, but so does Trump. That's all part of the game. Are you going to be an outsider with Newt Gingrich? How the fuck is that?
I mean, certainly Christie would be the more entertaining for everyone.
But he would also be closer to what Trump is doing. You know what I mean? His whole point is this isn't Newt Gingrich's era's fucking party anymore. So let's bring out Newt Gingrich. That doesn't make sense. This thing drives you crazy, huh?
I feel nuts.
The phones are driving Chris nuts today.
Yeah, he hates them. He hates the new system.
Coming up in a little bit, we're going to have our buddy Paul Fegan and then Louis J. Gomez, who hasn't been here for a while, and Dave Smith will also be coming in. They're doing a worldwide tour across the planet Earth. And just spreading joy and happiness wherever they go.
That's so sweet of them.
Yeah, it is nice.
A campaign of their own. Of laughter.
G-Man.
Hi, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Chris Finkel. I'm all about you, brother. I got nothing but support for you.
Thank you, G-Man. I appreciate that.
Oh, you have some support there.
Hey, Ronnie B., I just wanted to call in for just a minute and call out fucking Panthers fans and how much they blow dick.
But you're a Panthers guy.
I am a Panthers guy, and I love my Panthers, but I hate their fans. I don't know. It's one of two things. Either it's one, because we're a relatively young franchise, we don't have any history, or two, it's because the city that the stadium is in is a corporate city. But if you go there and you're fucked up and you're screaming and yelling, being a normal football fan, you are by far the minority.
Well, I think it's true of most cities now. I mean, Philadelphia has changed quite a bit. D.C. used to be a really pretty rough crowd that went to the old Redskins game, and is very corporate now. Same for New York. I don't think it's a fearful thing to come and play in New York the way it used to be years ago. If you watch the, old classic stuffs, the Yankees Stadium in the 70s was fucking frightening. Shit would come flying down. There would be people in the stands just rocking the stands. Now you go there, somebody's hoping to fucking get their hedge fund moving. They don't give a shit about the game.
It's more like a networking event.
Yeah, they're not living and dying with that team.
Mets fans, we threw D batteries at John Rocker a few years ago. Now we don't do anything.
I know. But you know why? You got a new stadium and you got to pay for it. Now it's Seinfeld showing up with Chris Rock and Ricky Gervais.
They're not throwing shit.
They are not going to throw shit at all. You throw shit when you're so fucking nuts you can't stand it. The Yankees fan almost killed Reggie.
Yeah, like when they won
with love, they almost killed him with love, like Pinky Benson.
They're just storming the fucking
people.
field.
They love them.
I love them. The little people. FBI has finally closed the DB Cooper case. But we'll never know.
Did they figure it out?
No, they're like, we give up. They said, yeah, it's closed. We don't know who it is, and whatever.
How many people have been working on it, though?
I'm sure there's a couple people working on it.
One.
Just one
The
dude.
last person just was reassigned.
Me and two other guys are going to look into it before we totally close it. Well, a guy jumped out of a fucking jet plane over a wooded area.
Yeah.
And his body was never found.
With 200 grand.
200 grand, but some money was found in the river. Remember that?
Yeah, someone's, yeah. But no body or anything.
Did you ever, you were the DB Cooper guy?
I like DB Cooper a lot.
I think Vito
You were the
loves-
guy?
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that movie I tried to turn you on to?
No, I looked at the description. It looked like a zany comedy, and I want a gritty retelling of
Who's
the
in the
Cooper
movie?
Tale. I don't know. I just saw the poster.
Do you know DeVal's in that movie?
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's not exactly Adam Sandler. Is DeVal in the movie?
Yeah.
Good. Couldn't remember. I saw this thing 20 years ago.
And Treat Williams.
The great Treat Williams. Look, it's the closest you're going to come to knowing the story.
This was too much for Vito.
That was where he got turned off.
The Pursuit of DB Cooper.
I will tell you, there is not that picture anywhere in the film.
Good.
That doesn't even look like the drawing of him. The only drawing that we know of him. Yeah, there's no way he survived. But what they were looking into was just like who he was and his whole backstory, and they still were not able to figure it out, right?
Well, because in those days you did not have to, you could just say, my name's Bob, and I'm going to get on this plane.
Here's
It'll
some
be
money.
okay.
And why was there that much money on the plane?
I think he robbed like a bank or something.
It was, no
No,
he
he
didn't rob
took-
the bag, he robbed the plane.
Yeah, the
They were
plane had that
transporting
money.
in the plane.
I always thought he looked like Kevin Spacey in the picture of him.
He
It was
kind of
Kevin
does.
Spacey. Kaiser Sose.
He does kind of look like Kaiser Sose.
Is tonight a vote out on Big Brother, Chris?
Tonight is
No, that's
POV.
tomorrow.
Yeah. Tonight is the
Stuff
Power
that already
Veto.
happened. You guys already know this.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Power Veto is what we call this show.
And that fucking house was popping off last night. I
In
was
what
watching
way?
the feeds. Well, first of all, Frank turned around about half the house and then fucked it up, and now everyone else is back on Day's side.
So he had a chance to win himself back over because everybody.
Because
was
everyone in
kind
the house, as of let's say yesterday evening, wanted to get Frank out next week.
Neither one of them is up this week, so it doesn't matter.
But everyone just talks about everyone just talking about next week. They're like fucking Frank
that's
is
not
out.
the way the game's
Frank is
played.
out. I know, because none of them are playing the game.
Why did he pop off, get half the house on the side, and then lose him?
Because everyone realized Day is a crazy person, and she's playing the game as hard as Frank is this
Yeah.
early.
They're both terrible players.
Yeah, and now Bronte might go out instead of Tiffany.
I told you.
It might happen. They're moving votes.
I'd be sad to see Bronte.
Sure,
go.
it's the only impression you do.
I mean, she is very good at math. She did try to keep that secret. When she finally let that out, it was the craziest.
Yeah, she tells the other two girls in the Powerpuff Society or whatever the hell that alliance is called.
It isn't.
It is not the Powerpuff Girls.
They call the house calls them the Powerpuff Girls behind their back, and now they're getting confused and calling to their faces.
Oh no! But that's Bronte's
bad
fault. That's Bronte's fault for sounding like Blossom on Powerpuff Girls.
And I think Bronte and Paul are going to sleep together.
Yeah, that's why she's on her way out. They want to break up that alliance.
Ooh, that would be weird.
A lot of shit went down the house the last 2 days.
There has not been any serious showmance though yet, right?
Just flirting.
Just flirtations.
Yeah.
Oh, none of them are doing anything?
Not yet. Not in any physical way. There's like that kind of cuddliness and like.
Well, they
chucking
never
each-
bone. This isn't England.
No, they never actually.
I mean, we've only had a couple bonings in the 18 seasons.
Wasn't there like Dr. Will's season? I feel like maybe there was some boning.
Mike Boogie was getting it in I think All Stars.
No.
Not All Stars. That's a classic.
There was like a
place.
clip
Dr.
where
Will supposedly jacked a married woman off, and then her husband got a plane to fly over and say something like, "It's over, bitch." And then remember when it was like "Bring a Date" or something, and the guy banged somebody's ex?
Couples. It was a couples season.
Yeah.
No, it was exes.
Exes.
Exes,
The
and the
X
guy
Factor.
was obsessed, and some other dude banged his chick, and then they voted her out as a way of saying, "This is just the girl wanted out. She wanted no part of it. She didn't want to see her fucking ex. She looked physically fucking freaked by him, so she boned somebody and then went home."
Brendan and Rachel were banging in that house a lot.
Who?
Brendan and Rachel.
Oh, yeah. They got married eventually, right?
Yeah, they got married quick. They didn't wait like Jeff and Jordan did.
They should have got married in the house. Jeff and Jordan never did anything.
No, they were smart. That's why Jordan won all that money. Oh, Rachel won too.
Jordan flashed a lot, though.
She did.
She flashed a lot.
I feel like there was some other couple that were always like having sex under the sheets.
There was one dude who used to climb into a box and jack.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The Jack Shack.
The Jack Shack.
What was his name? He was great.
I thought it was the Spank Bank, but
Yeah.
it's the Jack Shack.
Howie, season 6 in All Stars.
Yeah, so he would get into this little trunk and he would curl up in a ball, close the trunk, and he would jack off in there where cameras could not see.
Oh my God.
So it looks like a big like toy chest, but I think it was meant for like the pool.
How did you not know that?
I didn't know about the Jack Shack.
Yeah, I think they kept like all the pool, like the
I
pool
think they
noodles
should have a
and
Jack
stuff
Shack
in
for
there.
everybody. You're in there for that long?
You got to get it out.
You would just see him putting the lotion outside of the shack as it opened.
But yeah, recently Paulie and Z just told each other they haven't had sex in months. So, that's interesting. Which I don't believe it's just true at all.
Hey, Tom, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Bennington. Gail, I wanted to ask you if you could please give us a little of your Bronte. It's the best impression ever.
Well, the thing is, I am pretty much a genius mathematician. I don't want the rest of the house to know. I don't want them to be intimidated by me, okay?
She is fucking insane, that girl.
She's so crazy.
And I dug her from the beginning because I like, mad mathematician, but she stinks at the game. And I can't cheer for people who stink at the game.
But when she revealed it, which I guess they haven't really shown on the show yet, have they?
And I don't think they are.
But because it was so weird. She was confessing to her girlfriends about it, and she actually started crying. She's like, "This feels so good to finally express who I am." A nerd, okay? I am a nerd, guys. It's like, yeah, we knew.
I bet she also stinks at fucking math. I'm willing to bet. I mean, she knows more than us.
Oh,
Chris looked up her LinkedIn, and there's no math at all on her LinkedIn, just acting degrees.
It's acting stuff, yeah. That on her LinkedIn.
There you go.
And she said she tanked there was a math fucking problem. There was a math problem on one of the roadkill challenges, and she said she tanked it on purpose.
I bet that's not even her voice. I bet she's doing a character.
Oh my
She'd
God.
be the greatest of all time. There goes Daryl.
There you go.
You should go get a ball signed by him. You love him so much, Vito.
Best friend.
Not his best friend.
I don't know where that comes from.
It's a weird thing to say.
Yeah, it is. It's nuts. Nick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bennington's.
Hey, man.
Long time, first time.
Whatever.
I was just going to stick up for the fact, college football is kind of weird. You are rooting for,
children.
Young, yeah, basically. But the reason I like it, and this sounds sadistic, but the stakes are so much higher. Like, in the NFL, if a guy drops a pass, it's like, whatever, all right, whatever. In college football, it's like, oh, man, he's going to be working at Walmart. You know what I mean? Like, it is literally the difference between somebody becoming
somebody being a star can still end up working at Walmart in college.
Oh, well,
That's how
yeah,
bad it
well,
is.
even that, yeah.
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
It's not. It's not a good competitive game most of the time.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and the other thing, too, I've been to NFL games, and the culture is just so much different. You've got grown men wearing, colored jerseys. It's like the Warriors. Like, I almost got stabbed at a preseason game for the Giants versus the Jags for no reason. I was like, there's a preseason game. What are you doing? It's insanity.
Well, first of all, anyone should be stabbed for wearing a Jags jersey.
I didn't even get a jersey. I just got a teal shirt because that's how much I was willing to commit to going to the game. But it was a Tuesday. What are you going to do?
You shouldn't go to any game down there unless you got tickets in the pool. That's the only way you show up. But I don't think people up north understand how the South loves college football. You've never seen anything in your life. The Auburn Alabama game is as important as things can possibly get. And that's two colleges that could all but throw a rock at each other. You know what I mean? And that's when you really have rivals. When people in one state divide themselves and saying, I'm with Auburn or I'm with Alabama.
Now, people in those states, they might not even have to go to college, right? They'll just fucking pick one.
Anybody can cheer for anybody they want to. You know what I'm saying? You're a human being. You know?
There are rules to this stuff.
No one can come in and say, did you go to the college? No. I don't even understand that question.
I'm just saying, if you're alumni, I feel like, yeah, okay, it makes sense that you like this team. But
if you're alumni, it's nuts to still go back to the school every fucking week. Don't you? I mean, the reason to go to a college is not to stay there and act the same. We get fucked up every week. Well, you're 50, dude. You should not be getting fucking wasted for these games. I gave $12,000 so they could go and get that quarterback. It's crazy. All right, we got a break here. Paul Feig coming up, talking about Ghostbusters. I went to see it the other night. I was actually sitting 2 seats down from Ope, and I could hear him laughing, and then I know that my laughs were heard. It's kind of embarrassing. I was surprised how much people liked the film because you'd heard so much backlash, and I'm not the normal summer movie guy, so I don't know how to. I don't know how to feel actually good that a CGI is fighting itself, But I will tell you this: that place fucking went apeshit. Even after the film, they were staying around cheering for the people. And who do you think got the biggest cheers?
Leslie Jones.
She was second biggest. Hey, Chris.
Melissa McCarthy?
No.
Kate McKinnon?
Yes.
Did she have the biggest laughs?
Well, she's so strange.
I just adore her.
I mean, when you see her, you'll just be like, could this... No, it's not written like that. It can't be written that way. It can't be written for somebody to just be like, you know what I mean? Like, she does shit that only she would do.
Yeah.
Only she would do. And I'm actually going to check in with Paul if is that a good feeling or not. You know
Like somebody takes the character in a strange direction? Or?
It's the weirdest direction you've ever seen. And it's incredibly funny, obviously.
Uh-huh.
But even if she plays Hillary Clinton, there's no Hillary Clinton in her.
No, she does her own weird thing.
She does her own weird thing. There's no reason to say, oh, she's got the voice down or the look or anything else. Here is Sean. Sean, what's up?
Hey, Ronnie, you have no idea how serious these people are down here about Alabama football. Even these dumb women will act like they're sending plays into Nick Saban and get pissed off. I mean, it's amazing. It's like a bad movie, and the people up north can't imagine. I mean, it's really something.
It's more intense, and I think it's so funny that the people in the same state, this game means so much to them, more than all the other games put together.
Right?
It's so intense. Here's David in Alabama.
Hey, man, I just call. I mean, I know some folks that went to Auburn that are diehard Alabama fans and vice versa. It has nothing to do with where you go to school a lot of times. It has to do with your family ties, who your dad pulled for. Yeah, I mean, it's
Chris,
crazy.
You seem like
And
you're
yeah,
curious in
people
this. Does it mean anything to you now?
People get fights over it. It's insane.
Are you missing everything that we're talking about?
I had to answer an email.
Okay. We're going to break. We'll be right back. Coming up a little bit, Louis J. Gomez and Dave Smith, they start their world tour. And Paul Feig stopping by to talk about Ghostbusters. Bennington Show. Paul Feig in studio with us. Ghostbusters come out this Friday, July 15th, in theaters everywhere. Good to see you, my friend.
Ron, always great to see you.
I saw the movie with a full audience the other night and popped like a big summer movie. The place went crazy.
Oh, good.
And it was really, really interesting to see because, I'd been up on the set with you to see how it was done. And then, of course, I guess this is the most controversial project of your career.
And how interesting that a comedy about ghosts would be.
Yeah.
The most controversial thing I've ever done.
Well, that's the funniest thing. When we got into the movie and the movie started, it was just a big, fun summer movie.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
That's all we ever wanted to do. And that's why in the midst of all this craziness and controversy and angst and all this, it's like, guys, we're just trying to make you laugh for 2 hours. That's all we care about.
Did that change your experience, though? Was this the toughest film you've ever made because of that?
It was tough. I mean, anytime you've got that kind of scrutiny and that level of people yelling at you.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I don't go like, how dare they yell at me? I get that people are passionate about this, about the original property and anybody, rebooting anything that's classic. But it does take a toll. I mean, I'm human and I'm, especially the fact that I'm so addicted to social media, I can't escape it.
You won't turn off the social media.
I won't because you know what? I meet so many awesome people. And I mean, telling you about 95% of everything I get is from great people who I have this amazing outreach with and I love communicating with. And sometimes I even, meet them personally and it's great. It kind of buoys me, honestly, because, even in the sort of the darkest days of this whole experience, in the middle of it all and you're getting pounded by haters and people who really don't like you, you'll get somebody will send a picture of their daughter wearing the new Ghostbusters costume that they made and holding their own homemade proton pack, staring into the camera, looking like fierce little warriors. And you're like, yeah, that's why we're doing this. We're not doing it. I mean, look, we're doing it for everybody, but it's almost like guys, middle-aged guys who are mad, like, let these kids have the fun that you had that you're trying to hang on to.
Right. That is very, very true that we forget that. Is back in the 80s, a lot of guys in their 40s and 50s weren't going out to see Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
My dad never called and said, hey, did you see Ghostbusters?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's so true. I mean, look, it's for all ages, definitely, but it's, we really just purely wanted to create the same fun experience that we all had 32 years ago when we saw it for the very first time.
Wow, was it really 32 years ago?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And depressing?
And then the strange thing about this is all the original Ghostbusters show up in the film, and they also have given it nothing but raves.
Yeah, they've been so supportive from day one. I mean, Bill Murray, who has been the holdout on doing a sequel for so long, when I just first announced I was going to do it with women, and we haven't even written the script yet, he was the first one in the press to kind of say he thought it was a great idea, and he even said I should hire Kristen and Melissa.
Right. Well, he's a guy who enjoys funny women.
Yeah. He has a healthy take on the world, which most people do, and then there's just some few people who are very, very angry who sit on the internet.
But what was that like for you? Because I know you grew up loving Murray.
Yeah.
And now you are directing Bill Murray.
Well, the most nerve-wracking day of my career.
Is that right?
Oh, my God. 100%. First of all, we as with Bill, you're always kind of like not 100% sure he's going to be there. I heard he was going to come, but you don't really get confirmation until the day before. And honestly, it was like he landed, he's at the airport. It's like, okay, good. But then just, this epic thing of A, you're directing one of your absolute heroes. B, he's stepping onto your set of Ghostbusters, which he has not wanted to do a Ghostbusters for, however many years it's been since the second one. And that all adds up to this just like enormous, don't blow it. Oh my God, don't fuck this up. Don't look bad in front of Bill Murray, just personally. And he was awesome. I mean, he could not have been cooler. And because he loves all those ladies. He's worked with them in various degrees and was so cool. But it was just like, when he left and it was so great, I just collapsed. It was just like, it just took a toll on me.
Yeah. Well, what people have to know is you're a comedy nerd first before you became a comedian, before you became a writer, a director. You grew up where this was something that was absolutely important to you.
It's all I care about. It's all I've ever cared about from day one is comedy. To the point where when I was in film school, when I was in film school at USC, it was all very serious students who wanted to make art films and Godard films and all that. And I was just writing dopey comedies. And I had this one writing teacher, he said in front of class, he said, did something happen in your life that was tragic that makes you not want to do drama? I said, no. It's why people laugh.
Right. Well, that's the funny thing about it is that you have to explain to people why you want to make a comedy.
Yeah, exactly. And then we also have to then the fact that we're never kind of looked at as being legitimate filmmakers for doing that, which is fine. We don't care about that. I mean, our awards are the laughter of an audience.
Well, it is true. And, Mel Brooks is bringing Blazing Saddles to Radio City.
Oh, wow.
And then, you get to see it with 5,000 people. And then, of course, he's going to come out and do a Q&A.
Oh, fun.
And you think, how many years has that been now? And that many people are ready to show up and see it and relive that, you know?
Totally.
And that's why I had such a fun night. And I was actually sitting just a couple seats down from Opie, and he was like, what is this going to do? What do you think? And I'm like... He goes, I'm really nervous. I go, have you seen Paul Feig movies before, dude? We're fine. And when you have the audience laughing, it's a totally different experience. It really is that seeing a movie when you're a kid experience, whether you like it or not.
No, and I mean, that's honestly how we even craft our movies. We craft them to be seen in a room with people. My editor and I, that's what we work towards, because that's why we do so many test screenings, because that's the purest experience you can have. And obviously, we love people to watch them on cable and their video and all that, but it's really getting that group experience and building something the way that I used to build my stand-up act. To go like, okay, I know this joke will kill, and if I go up and up here, and then I know I need to give them a break here, and that kind of thing. Yeah, that's just that's the pure experience you want people to have. And I'm just so happy that so far most people have been having that experience.
Well, you have that experience, which is funny, which, by the way, you do miss jokes while that's taking place because people are laughing.
Yeah.
And then you go back and rewatch. I just watched Spy again the other night, and I'm still catching things that from a movie that I thought I loved, and I'm like, damn, look at that little look there or whatever.
Oh,
that's
cool.
That's the great thing.
Yeah, that's the fun. I mean, that's that we really like to stack stuff in that way because, I want to make those movies that you want to watch over and over again. And I love when people say like, they're flipping past and suddenly they got caught up in it again. That's, that's kind of what you always go for. It's, it's like, that's why The Simpsons are so great. Like there's always something in there. And if you can get that level of like second and third and fourth layers in there, then that's Nirvana.
Ghostbusters opens this Friday. Now, you had 4 women in the film as leads. 2 are already, movie stars. Mm-hmm. And then the other 2 just burst out on the screen this time.
Yeah, aren't they amazing? I mean, I'd never worked with Kate or Leslie before. I knew Kate personally because I hang out at SNL all the time. Because of Steve Higgins, who's one of my best friends. But Leslie I'd never seen before until she popped up on Weekend Updates. And, it was right when I was trying to figure out who my cast was going to be. And I was saying to my wife, like, who's that woman? And by the time she was done with her thing, her bit, I was just like, oh my God, she's going to be a Ghostbuster. There's no way I'm not putting her in this movie. And then immediately called Allison Jones, my casting director, and was like, have you met Leslie Jones? Can she act? He's like, oh no, she's great. And so I had drinks with Leslie and we hit it off and I cast her.
She's been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, like you said, blew up a little bit on Saturday Night Live. I mean, from the first time out.
Yeah.
But I'm noticing now her confidence level is through the roof. I'm seeing her on talk shows, destroying and just having a ball.
No, she's awesome. I mean, she's so good. And it really, and it's hard to suddenly be the lead of a movie and have to be out promoting it. And, that's a grind, man. I mean, that's why that separates movie stars from like regular people.
It is true, right? When you really look at a Tom Cruise and how he's been able to hold it up, acting is only one part.
Oh my God, totally. It's like Robert Downey Jr. I mean, he does everything to promote, and you have to. But, when you sit in a room at a junket and, during the course of a day, between 40 and 80 reporters come in one at a time, you're on camera, they have 4 minutes each, and they ask you the exact same questions over, and you have to somehow make each one, your answers sound fresh. It's a skill.
And if you just get angry once, that's the only one that goes viral.
Yeah, totally. So it's always kind of like, everybody hold it together.
Well, Kate goes to the strangest places.
Oh, yeah.
And she is one of those people that's comfortable doing that. And that's the other thing about comedy. You have 4 comedians as the leads, and they're all doing a different style of comedy.
Yeah, well, that was the biggest thing with casting this movie, or anytime you put an ensemble together.
Right.
Because I know so many funny people who could have been in this, but you're like, okay, who's got the 4 different energies that don't overlap, that aren't redundant, but they can mesh together? And it's hard. It's a hard math to figure out, but once you see the pieces, you get that. And with Kate, I just love everything she does. But when we were casting this, she's honestly the first person that I cast because I'd heard that she wanted to be a Ghostbuster, and I love her work, but I had her come in just for a little meeting. just her physicality and the way she was even kind of pitching, like how she was, she like put her leg up on the desk and was kind of sitting like a guy, and it was just like, it was so funny. I was like, that kind of weirdo confidence is so great. And so I was like, well, that's the perfect Holtzman, and then kind of built the rest of the team around her.
And that's the kind of comedy that you can't write. You can't write on paper that. You've got to hope you get somebody who brings that.
Yeah.
But you don't even know what she's going to do, I guess.
No, but that's what's so exciting. As long as I get somebody, I go, they're going to bring something to this game.
Yeah.
And I know they're funny, then that's the most exciting thing. Even though some days it's kind of like, you're almost like, what's going to happen here? And with Kate, she's so funny because like, just in the middle of a scene, suddenly she'll blurt out something that's so out of left field, and where you're like, what the hell? And sometimes we're like, why did she do that? And then you get back to the editing room and go, because that was the most brilliant thing that could have been done at that moment, and we're putting it in the movie. So I love that level of kind of, for lack of a better term, danger on the set, where you're like, I don't know what somebody's going to do. And with Leslie, like, what's Leslie going to do? Because she would kind of burst out with something, or like, kind of follow up somebody else's line, or she'd jump on something. It was really exciting because, I have such a shorthand with Kristen and Melissa, and yet at the same time, and that's great. We surprise each other all the time, but then to bring a couple new elements in that add a little more unpredictability to it. It's exciting.
It really is about that unpredictability. Now, does that take you to the editing room before you go, okay, this is exactly what?
Yeah, it does. I mean, what it does is, production is basically going like, we got to get everything.
Yeah.
Let's figure out what it is. But at the same time, you have to kind of know what you're going for, or else you're just going to have a mess on your hands. But that's why we think we know where we're going, and we really tailor it to those actors before we even get to the set, with all rewrites and working with them through improvs and rehearsals and all that. But then once we kind of know the general direction, that's when I want them to surprise me, and I want to surprise them, and I want to get a million different options. So then when we do get back in the editing room, that's where we kind of pull it together and can experiment.
And that's a big part of your job, just creating that world to bring everybody into. I was, you let me come up on the set that day, which, by the way, was so crazy, amazing. I think even when we sat down and talked, I was still stunned because I've always been a small movie guy, and then going on that set, I'm like, I just want to be around big movies.
Yeah, they're fun. They're addictive.
They are. And then watching the movie and trying to figure out, were you also in the subway, or is that just your subway that you built? It's I would lose if I had to take a quiz on what you made and what actually exists. It's phenomenal.
Oh, good.
But that said, everybody, you just let me wander around. I must have talked to 30 or 40 people working. Everybody said it was the sweetest, funnest set. Oh. Everybody was having a great time. And that seems almost impossible to pull out. Forget the movie, just to create that environment, Yeah,
I mean, I can't work in any other kind of environment. And when I was an actor, I'd be on sets that were tense, and with our director who don't do that, and it's just like, I would shut down. All my whatever extra creative juice I had would just get contained as all right, just say the lines as they want me to. And why would you ever do that and cut off that kind of natural stream of creativity and energy, in front of the camera? But then on top of it, it's I don't want to be around a tense set. Nothing makes me sadder when if you hear somebody's upset or something. I'm going to the mode of oh my God, we got to make them not upset, because I don't want people angry at each other, around me. And, with my crew, it's I don't want any yellers. If anybody's a yeller, they're fired, because I don't need that energy around, because I want it to be a positive experience. Making a movie is a full-time job, and it's hard, and the pressure is high. So why can't we have fun while we're doing it? Because then again, that fun comes across on camera. So it's really, it serves two purposes. One, to keep us sane, and the other, to give us a good product.
It was amazing for me to see that entire crew moving like fish, though. There was no one yelling out orders. There was no barking orders. Everybody was just in this same spot. And, anybody who's, we're talking about creating a nice environment. Everybody tries to throw a party, but it doesn't always work out,
Yeah.
It's a very, very difficult thing to have that level of everybody being together.
Yeah, but it also comes from, if you work with the best people. My assistant director, Artist Robinson, has done some of the biggest movies ever, and he is just a master, because he is stern and tough, but he does it in a way that everybody has a great time. They laugh, they have fun. I've never seen anybody have the power to even dress somebody down in a way where they're like, where they still like them.
Right.
Go, okay, yeah, it's amazing. I mean, that's such a skill. And then the other people I work with just kind of have that thing about them. I tend to work with very gentle people. I mean, if you look at my AD, Bob Yeoman, and then my production designer, Jeff Sage, they're all these like just really sweet, unassuming people. And I find you don't need big personalities in some of those roles in order to get the best creative stuff. There are big personalities and they have big ideas, but then I found actually the people who are quiet and channel all their energy through their ideas, those are the people I actually like, both personally, and I find their work to be better.
I also noticed that the energy changes as the actors come in and out.
Yeah.
Where everybody on the set is saying, okay, this is your time, serve it, take care of it. The laughs come. Everyone is holding back a laugh and then exploding after. I mean, it's an amazing thing to see pulled off that way.
Yeah, they're fun sets. Although I always feel like we do so much improv and we just extend stuff so long that there are times when you just see the crew just like, oh my god, are they ever going to stop? Then we finally get to the end. I'm like, okay, we got it. Then one of my actors go like, can I try one thing? And I'm like, yay! And the crew's just like, oh my god, the worst job on my set.
Yeah.
The boom operator.
Is it? Yeah.
Because you got to hold that mic over his head, and I always forget.
Yeah.
I remember there was one time it was on Spy. Well, I did some take. I had to be like 40 minutes long, and all I remember seeing when I said cut, and I was so happy that all the crew went over to console the boom guy who had apparently just been shaking and red and trying to hold this thing up. And I was like, oh god, I'm so sorry, I forgot.
Just the Guinness Book of World Records for holding something up.
He wins.
Well, that comes up, but I was actually, because you said you guys you lock in one thing and then you keep shooting and changing jokes, and in scenes that I said, I'm like, oh man, there's some jokes got left behind.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? That happens almost every take that you do.
Oh no, totally. I mean that's the hard part is like deciding what joke and which ones you got to leave on the floor, but they weirdly sort themselves out as you go through the test screenings and you just keep editing down and all that. You kind of see those were funny, but in context, this is the one that works. The nice thing about the way I make movies is like the studio is always very happy because the dailies are also funny. So every day they're seeing stuff that's so funny, but then the thing is, then they all fall in love with different jokes.
Right.
And they want all this stuff. And my whole thing is I'm always going, even when people are all excited and we're in the middle of production, I'm always the kind of the voice of weird negativity where I'm like, all right, but we got to see if it adds up. And that's really what it comes down to. Because, these scenes on their own are super funny. When you string them all together in the context of a movie, suddenly the scene that was so funny becomes a scene where people are like, oh my God, I hate this scene, or like, what is going on? And that's why it takes us months and months and months to put a movie together.
Well, yeah, particularly since you don't go in that direction of, your movies have a reality feeling to them, the reality that's set up. And there are films that have this hilarious joke, and then after you laugh hard, you're like, but that's never going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Why would Paul McCartney show up and hit somebody?
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. But and that's why I think so many comedies go off the rails sometimes, is they set up a set of rules. You can set up whatever set of rules you set at the beginning can be bananas. I mean, one of my favorite movies is Moulin Rouge. The first 10 minutes of that, you're kind of like, am I going to be able to make it through this movie? This is nuts. But then you go, oh, that's their set of rules, and they stick to it.
Right.
So then it becomes your new reality, and then you're fine.
But then you can't break that new reality.
That's the thing. The minute you break that, then the audience goes sideways. Because then, I would say the moment I always try to avoid is the audience going like, oh, come on. Why would they do that? Or that's dumb. Then you're like, oh, but then we lost them. They're gone.
Adam Sandler has an audience that will follow him through that, he super serves that audience, and they give him a huge place to play, but you, I guess, have to earn that.
Oh, you totally.
We were talking about Mel Brooks earlier. The joke is first with Mel.
Yeah.
Above all else.
Yeah.
But, and those are the things that maybe time doesn't always, isn't the kindest to.
Yeah, you really have to tap into the human condition in some way. It's like when you're starting out as a stand-up, you generally make most of your jokes based on references and making fun of things in culture and all that, which is great. It's a great way in. But to have any kind of longevity, you have to be universal. Mm-hmm. And with movies, what's more universal than people and the emotions we go through? And so that's why, even if you come up with a high concept for a movie, it's like, okay, we got to figure out what the main character or main character's arc is. What part of the human condition that we go through can be best served by this story. And, even for like Ghostbusters, it was like, okay, we don't want to just, we're not just recreating the old characters. what is the story in this? And it was really about, at the end of the day, it's kind of a movie about faith and belief and legitimacy, and the feeling of like, okay, I believe in something I know is real or I think is real. Everybody says I'm crazy. At what point do you have to abandon that, or at what point do you say, I don't care what anybody thinks, I know I'm right?
Yeah.
And we have, in our movie, it's one character who actually knew she was right. She saw a ghost multiple times as a kid, but was made to feel so crazy and even put in therapy because of it that she finally said, I can't do this anymore. I got to become legitimate. And so that's why, when she comes back and, and the other character's like, I've never seen it, but I know you saw it and you're right. And I'm going to go to my grave saying that I am right. So then when they both find out they were right, they're both happy about it, but then one person then learns she has to be made to look crazy in the press in order to keep it, and it drives her crazy. And honestly, the first cut of this movie was 3.5 hours long because we delved very deeply into that idea.
Yeah.
But then we quickly realized, okay, well, we are still a summer tentpole, so we don't need to do a big treatise on legitimacy in people's mental states.
But that is, in a lot of ways, it's a work film. These are these people's work. They've committed to it, and the outside world doesn't believe into it. A lot of people, if you work in science anywhere, you're working on string theory. People are like, what?
Oh, no, totally. And that's that thing. I always want that universal theme of like, and even if you boil it away from a professional setting and say, all those times in my life, like I knew I was right and people said I was wrong. Like that's a real, that's a real legitimate feeling people have, and that connects you to it. That's what I'm always, any movie I do, like, what's that thing that's going to make me and the rest of the audience care about these characters and want to go through this crazy experience I'm going to put them through?
Yeah, they literally have to care about that fact. They got to care about each other and moving each other along.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's ghosts everywhere and all kinds of crazy stuff starts happening.
Because, it's very, you go like, oh, we'll just have all these cool effects and that'll be great. But like, these days, my God, people see everything. Mm-hmm. So, you can, any effect, any situation can be realized through CGI and computers and all that. So it doesn't mean anything anymore unless it's in the context of a story and characters people care about. So without those stakes, you don't want just kind of like, oh, yeah, we had ghosts flying around and they're shooting at it. It's not even that exciting to watch people shoot a proton beam at a ghost over and over and over again, unless you have some, stakes on why they're doing it and some investment in, are they going to catch them and what's going on?
I know this plays so big in New York City because even the original Ghostbusters connected with New York. You didn't shoot a lot here.
Right.
But when you watch the film, it's a New York City film.
Yeah, it feels, I think we did a pretty good mix. I mean, there's a couple, people from Boston would definitely recognize it. Hey, right. I know where that street is.
Yeah.
But no, it was really important to, because New York is such a character, from the original one too, in the movie, and it's so wrapped up in it. But, I wanted to shoot here, but we couldn't get the tax rebate that we needed because this movie's so expensive. But we ended up shooting one day with the cast here in front of the firehouse, which was our last day of shooting.
Yeah.
And that day made me go, oh my God, thank God we didn't shoot here, because just the level of excitement and crowds.
You're in every newspaper on every, I
my
remember
God.
that.
And the crowds that come around, and which is so great that they love it. But then you get those paparazzi guys who are really aggressive. I mean, New York, they won't kind of keep them off the set, to the point where these paparazzi guys can literally walk into the middle of our set and stand like, 2 feet in front of Kristen Wiig or Melissa McCarthy and just start snapping their picture. And you just have to kind of make these deals like, guys, can you give us a break, while we're shooting, and then move away, and then you can come in and take your pictures. And it's just really distracting and something you don't want to have to, be dealing with.
Well, I say to people all the time, I think it's a damn shame that those sets had to be destroyed. I think everybody would love to walk through that. And again, walking through the subway set, and Chris Stanley, who's grown up in New York, we felt like we could be hit by a train any second. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It was freaky.
The artistry that goes into that alone.
And they laid down, I mean, those are real, those tracks were real, and they molded, kind of pulled them sideways the way that you do when you're laying those tracks and put in the real stake. It was bananas how the level of detail that Jefferson Sage, my production designer, and his team bring is
brilliance. I mean, we're on top of the rooftop, and we're all New Yorkers. We've been to a million rooftop parties, and we feel like that's where we are, not in this crazy place that you had done in Massachusetts. It's amazing. Amazing amount of work.
No, it's such, I have such an amazing team that I work with. It's crazy.
Well, I'm so happy for you, man, that you pulled this off because, it's great to be a fan of yours and watch us just run through this. Ghostbusters is a real summer movie, the kind of summer movie of your youth. Friday, July 15th, in theaters everywhere. At Paul Feig, say something nice to him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he's ready to make friends.
Yeah, I got yelled at too much over the last 2 years.
Congratulations, my friend. I'll see you next time.
Thanks, Ron. I appreciate it. You are the best.
Thank you. Coming up in just a couple minutes, a New York City unmasked announcement that I believe is going to make Vito very happy. Vito knows nothing about this, right?
Nothing, not a thing.
Why are you such a lone wolf when it comes to this? How come not bringing Vito in on it?
I wanted to surprise Vito about it.
That was nice of you.
In a way, I think it's nice.
I didn't know you thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Each unmasked is a special surprise for each of us.
Yes, no one will know. By the way, Wiki enjoyed the nice interview with Paul. Loved it. And he's also taking my advice on Poison Ivy.
Oh,
I sent him the YouTube video.
I hope that he's on the mend with it.
None of us, I can't cure poison ivy, but I can stop you from getting it. Oh, by the way, you scrub yourself. You got to scrub yourself like you've been working on a car. You got to use a washcloth and get that grease off. You need
like a painful scrub.
No. It doesn't have to be painful, but you need grease-cutting soap, not just...
Right, like a dish soap even, maybe.
A dish soap would be perfect. I don't know if that goes directly on the skin, but I'm going to say perfect. Coming up, we're going to have the Skanks here talking about their world tour without Big J. It's Who Needs J tour coming up very, very soon.
Well named. You get the point.
This is a very special Unmasked. I don't know if the iBang is ready to put this up, but the second they are, I will do a pronouncement or a chance to tell people about it. But it is, I think we're all very, very familiar with the very funny Mike Birbiglia, his movie Sleepwalk with Me, and then he was in Amy Schumer's Trainwreck as the brother-in-law she didn't want to sleep with under any circumstances.
Unfuckable is the best way to put it.
He was the unfuckable roommate. Well, Mike Birbiglia will be doing the Unmasked along with the cast of Don't Think Twice. Here are some of the members of the cast. And this is going to make Vito incredibly happy. Gillian Jacobs.
Oh.
The very sexy. Chris Gethard.
Yes.
And Kate Micucci. So this is going to be a very, very...
This is really cool.
Now, Kate is part of the comedy duo Garfunkel and Oates.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's the point of the name of that? Because Garfunkel and Oates are both great singers.
Maybe that's why they chose it.
Okay. Then I get it.
Maybe then that's their
then
two favorites.
Is funny. Then that's funny. Good. But yeah, I've had both those guys on the air before, and they're both some of the greatest singers of all time.
And that Unmasked is happening Tuesday, July 19th at 11:45 a.m. here at the SiriusXM studios. It's next Tuesday at 11:45 a.m.
Is that right?
Yeah. 6 days away.
Oh, David Morris wrote a nice thing to @ Paul Feig.
Good.
And then Matt says, sorry, and he writes it to Paul Feig. I'll never go see this.
I
think you could do. I think you don't have to even let anybody know.
No, you're speaking loudly by not attending.
Yeah,
That's
you're doing all
enough.
you need to do. And we just start big. And somebody wrote, just because Chris wrestles with his sexuality doesn't mean he should try out for professional wrestling.
I'm trying out for professional football. And they don't care about sexuality there. Michael Sam proved that.
And Rob, let's see if you understand this. Yuck, she stinks. All of her Trump clones stink. Who could that be?
Who's the Trump clones? Who was that?
Bunny Kickbutt wrote something nice to Paul Feig. I don't know who anybody's talking about anymore, tell you the truth.
I definitely don't know what that Trump clones thing is.
Old Fetus Face writes this. I think you'll get a kick out of it.
Big fan of the name.
Usually I have no use for Bennington Show's hipster guests, but the director from 30 for 30 was fucking awesome.
That's Mike Birbiglia. And the 30 for 30 is this Thursday, 9 p.m.
Mike Bonfiglio.
Mike Bonfiglio.
Mike Birbiglia's young man next Tuesday.
But by the way, Mike Bonfiglio is her friend of years
That's the sad part.
before either one of them came on this show.
I'm so excited it's unmasked. Mike Bonfiglio, not Mike Birbiglia. Mike Bonfiglio is the director you're talking about. The hipster guest that you're okay with.
Yes. Which is really funny because I don't know if he's got a hipster bone in his body, does he?
No, he's just a dude.
He's just a dude who directs films. But how far back do you go for him for real?
I've known him for I think about 6 years.
About 6 years.
But my man has been friends with him for a very long time.
And then he becomes a big time documentary.
Doing big time 30 for 30s.
Teaming up with Apatow.
Yeah, working with Judd Apatow.
And they're working on another film.
Yes, they are working on another project together.
Called The Bennington Story. Behind the Glass.
I like it.
It's called What the Fuck Is He Talking About? The Bennington Story. Hate radio. It's the newest thing going today.
Hatio.
Get up. Oh, I like Hatio. I like that a lot. Hatio.
Hatio on.
Turn up. Yeah, Hatio. Let me see some more of these things. Michael is very nice. Sent to Paul Feig. Dr. Not Sam fan is excited about the boys stopping in here today.
Turns out he's a fan of something.
Loved hearing Paul Feig telling Ronnie B that he's the best interviewer right before the mic cut out. That was nice. Even though Chris doesn't know how to turn off the fucking mics properly.
Fuck that up.
Yes, we are buddies, and I'm very happy for him. For this Ghostbuster thing. I go back with Paul Feig the way you do with Mike Birbiglia.
No, not Mike Birbiglia. Mike Bonfiglio.
You and Birbigs. Close.
Birbiglia? Bonfiglio. Bonfiglio? Birbiglia.
Hopefully the next Unmasked, our good friend Chris Gethard will be here because he is in this film. And I did an Unmasked with him, and one of the reasons that he never forgets is that he was, at the time, doing public access TV. Now, having said that, he'd also acted in a lot of roles and written a terrific book about being an actual nerd when he was younger and how hard it gets to beat up in school. Not the way like Vito will call himself a nerd.
Please.
Or Chris Stanley calls himself a nerd.
Exactly.
But like a real nerd when it was a bad thing to be it. It was like, oh, punching bag.
An outcast.
That's what nerd meant. Now everyone's like, any girl with glasses that's sexy says that she's a nerd.
Well, Bronte's a nerd. Yes, she is. She is pretty nerdy because she is so good at math. And I'm so excited to be able to share that with you as a nerd.
I think we're going to find out that that's 100% work. I think she's going to come out and go like this. Did everybody buy the nerd bit? Because it was so difficult keeping it going.
Fuck you guys.
Fuck this show. Fuck CBS. CBS stands for cunt bitch shit. And she leaves like
and
Stone
most
Cold.
of all, fuck you, Julie Chen.
I don't know why somebody doesn't call her Julie Chin when they're really mad at her.
More like Julie Chin.
Get it?
Get Chin in here.
Get chin ups. Julie Chen is married to the guy who runs CBS.
Yes.
So her life is really fucking good.
She's good.
Yeah. She could actually probably hire people to carry her from one room to another on those long sticks that you kind of put an ottoman on and you just ride around.
Maybe that could be the next comp.
I wouldn't mind.
Roadkill competition.
Honk, honk.
How I hate roadkill competition.
It's really annoying.
I don't give a shit how fast you turn off your, take off your underwear. Just do the, why are we back into this again? You assholes get me back into it.
It's easy to fall into.
I would like to yell at you guys like I do for Tits and Dragons, but I actually watched this one. By the way, did you see Sam Jackson describing and catching people up on Tits and Dragons?
Yeah, so he goes through like all of the seasons and gives you in 5, I think actually a 7-minute long video. So now you are up to speed with everything that's happened.
Now, why doesn't Chris Stanley think of this for himself?
The YouTube compilation videos always they're beyond what I can do.
But even if it was just you sitting down rapping 7 minutes to describe the story.
I can't believe he did it in 7 minutes. It was really impressive.
He skips over a lot.
I mean, you're able to explain it to me, and I don't get it. Can we just hear a minute or two of this?
Yeah, I'm pulling up Sam Jackson's Game of Thrones.
And also get me those plane tickets that you promised me. I do that because of the way he types.
I type.
I think didn't Louis do an episode on that? The typing at when you're getting tickets where
You guys like,
no.
how many bags you have?
All right, here's Sam Jackson explaining. Oh, good, froze.
Okay. That'd be fine if you went to Frozen.
Okay, newbie, we've only got a few minutes and a lot to cover, so listen up. The first thing you need to know about this world is, no, not dragons. Fuck those dragons. Focus. The seasons in this place last a ridiculously long time. So when we start this, everyone has just come out of a long summer. So let's just say they ain't too happy about winter coming.
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. Winter is coming.
Stop that. You're making me uncomfortable.
Over in Westeros, Lord Eddard Stark, a.k.a. Ned, is asked by his friend, the king, Robert...
I don't know if that's even funny enough for me.
Well,
I'm actually bored of Sam Jackson. First time in my life.
I liked it because it reminded me so much of the Tony Rocky Horror Story. He's like laying it out the same way.
Hey, did you see when Tarantino said his all-time favorite character? Not
was it?
Samuel Jackson.
Really? Who is his all-time favorite?
Who would you think would be? Out of all the characters that he's written.
Marcellus Wallace?
Jackie Brown.
None of these are right. I also thought it would have been Mr. Blonde. Or even Mr. Orange.
What, the bride? The bride?
Bride is a good guess.
It's not the bride.
Bill.
No.
Well, it's not going to be the bride. It's
First
not
of
going
all,
to be Bill.
you're not fighting against each other. You don't need to yell things out. This isn't a competition. This is friends having a conversation.
This isn't a comp, Chris.
You should take a buzzer with you wherever you go in life. And just be ready to start a competition against people next to you. By the way, I heard the worst, and I don't want to say just because she was Jewish, but a Jewish woman who ordered something with everything off and then said, if like, I'd like the tuna fish, but no mayonnaise.
Oh, God.
All right. So that goes on. And she goes, now, if they can't do that, I'll have a turkey club, but no mayo, no lettuce, no tomato. I don't want it on bread. What kind of a hard roll do you have? And it was going on. And this is something that she probably wasn't, this was for something that she didn't want if she got her first thing.
Oh, my God.
And I saw the waitress, and then I realized, okay, the neighborhood I'm in, this happens to her constantly. You know, for me,
Right.
I'm freaking out and I want to quit a job that I don't even have. Before he got the Turkey Club.
And I'll have the Turkey Club. No turkey.
Vito,
on it.
you used to be a movie guy, right? Or you just a popcorn Vito guy?
I'm a tweener.
You going to Ghostbusters, by the way?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna hit it up.
Are you going?
Definitely,
This
100%.
I'm there.
What day are you going, Chris?
I'm going to go Saturday.
Nope. Gail?
I'm going to go Friday night.
Yes, Friday.
Sunday morning.
No.
Sunday morning.
You don't help unless you go Friday.
Well, then I'm Friday then.
It's the only way you help.
I'm changing everything over my weekend. I'm going
And
Friday.
take 30 of your friends.
Okay.
Stop and have a Turkey Club.
I'll have a turkey club and get the squad together.
Oh, you do run with the squad. And one of his friends is the sax player for, well, I want to say it. I can't think of it. Who is it for?
Harry Connick Jr.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff the Sax Man.
Is Jeff the Sax Man going to be part of the new TV show?
Yeah, 100%. He'll be there every day.
I've been invited to see the TV show.
Really?
I don't like to watch other people work or go to shows. I like to be in shows.
You'll see Jeff. He's amazing.
Do it for Saxman.
You know what? I would be better if Jeff just came in here one day with a sax.
Could have Jeff coming here with a sax.
Please book Saxman.
Sax man.
I would love to be a sax guy and a rock and roll man and just play sometimes. You know? Where are the boys at?
Yeah, Spencer Burgers is escorting them down the hallway right this moment.
Escorting them?
Yes, they're being escorted.
He's extorting them down
Now,
the
what time
hallway.
did they sign in?
They signed in at like 1:58.
Would Saxman come in, play that for us, and then follow that with I Still Believe, my
sure.
favorite sax song?
I'll text him right
Dude,
now.
I heard that on First Wave, and I was cracking up.
That's awesome.
And it's the first time I ever heard it, other than you, in its full 3 minutes.
Oh, it's a great song.
It gets a little redundant. When
It
I was in
does?
the car, I'm like,
But you're-
this song is a lot longer than I thought.
But you're getting exactly like the best stuff. He's repeating some of the best bits of
I
the.
still believe.
Yeah. I still believe.
And then, what is he saying doing it? Bum, 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 bum.
I can't remember that. Like, upon my knees
Yeah.
if I have
You've got to do that live sometime.
I would love to do it live.
Louis J. Gomez and Dave Smith are coming in studio. Louis J. Gomez and Dave Smith are performing tonight at the Raven Lounge in Philly and tomorrow night at the Providence Comedy Connection in Providence, Rhode Island. Go to legionofskanks.com for tickets and additional dates. Legion of Skanks is live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. East, available on iTunes and the Gas Digital Network. On Twitter, it's at Louis J. Gomez and at Comic Dave Smith.
The start of a world tour. It begins. I consider this a spinoff tour. You got rid of Dead Wood from the Skanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the Where's Jay Tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this
Big J's agent wouldn't allow him to come on this tour.
Is that right? Do you guys all have different agents and managers?
We have the same management, but Jay has a different agent.
Yeah.
And that changes everything.
It's like the who was that chick who was hanging out with the Beatles who made them way better?
Yoko Ono? Is
Yeah,
that
that's
okay?
her. That's the one.
You call Jay's agent.
No, you're saying that because she's the Asian agent? This is my agent. But this is going to be fun for you guys, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm very excited. Tonight in Philly, which, we're, we don't really go. I haven't been to Philly in probably a couple of years, so I think we should have a decent following coming out
Are
there.
you allowed to come back to
Oh,
Philly?
yeah.
Very
It's
good.
Canada, Ron. I'm not allowed in Canada.
We have.
Now, I saw you in Canada.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not allowed back now.
From that time?
No. I was fine on that trip. I didn't do anything, but my temporary residency visa has expired. So now I have to go through the whole rigmarole of getting a new visa.
Well, you're saying you don't even belong in the United States.
No, I didn't. No, that's my friends that say that. I say that I'm born and bred American, but everyone
Right.
says I should go back to my country, which is a commonwealth.
Has anybody criticized Trump for not having any plan to deport Puerto Ricans? Yet? Or is anyone, is that an angle?
I don't think I think he thinks, hey, well, they've got their own parade, so I'm fine with them. Because you do have a parade that draws more people than live on the island of Puerto Rico.
I think that's the new standard in New York if you've made it, if you have your own parade. So the Irish, the Puerto Ricans, the gays.
West Indians.
The West Indians, they're at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
ISIS.
But you know what? It's odd. There's not a Polish parade.
I'm sure there is.
No, not a big one. Though.
Yeah, not a big one. It's not
Maybe
one
they're
of
just
the
too
big
stupid
gems.
to organize one.
You know what?
Take it, Poland.
In 1978, we all would have laughed and high-fived each other. Those jokes were actually done on TV.
That was 1970s edgy.
I would have been touring the country at that point. Not this bullshit tour.
The Polish have some holiday where they leave church and they go out and it's almost like a big procession that like they leave church. It's something similar to Easter, I think, around that time of year. And I was living in Greenpoint, had no idea that it was happening, and woke up to like this really like low chanting that just started. And I opened my bedroom window and it was just like thousands of people outside.
Really?
And it's a very like residential neighborhood. It wasn't on a big street, so it was just filled.
Drinking vodka straight from the bottle?
No, they were like kind of all in like Sunday,
nice.
church clothes.
Was
but
it
they were
scary
like,
at all or no?
Yeah, it was very eerie. It was a little bit zombie-ish because,
they're
like
pale.
they have their, they have like
a pale
their
group of people. So you see that, man?
call and response kind of the way the Roman Catholic Church does. They do the same thing.
Here's a weird thing for me. My super, who I've known for years, his daughter just went full burqa. Just laid into the
Just now?
What? Yeah, just now. And yeah.
Are you kidding?
Just get married?
Well,
do a lot of people make that choice midway through life? I thought that was like you were raised that way.
I know.
We've known her for many years. That's shocking.
Well, the funny thing is,
you're talking about like she came out as a lesbian. That's the exact words that you would use.
You went full burqa. Yeah. See, his boys are kind of like hip hop.
Yeah,
right?
very.
They're like Muslim hip hop kids. But then the daughters get into it way more, and yeah, maybe it's because somebody she married.
Yeah, that could be.
But I just, I felt like I saw something. I should say something to someone. I think that she could.
That's what they tell you to do.
Yeah, I mean that's an extreme personality change.
Oh yeah, that's very shocking.
She's so far left, she became a terrorist.
I guess. I mean, who knows? I mean, would you consider Muslims the left?
Well,
that's a religious
thing. That's how far left she went. She
got
crossed
to
over.
the right. Yeah. Because I don't know.
Deep.
I think the left is almost an absence of religion, except for black people. They stay religious
keep
no
with
matter
it.
where they go.
They really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get into the Jesus thing immediately.
Well, I feel like no one's more religious than Latinos in this country. Those are like the most religious people.
You think more than in black culture? You think
I think so.
Latinos-
I think Latino culture is crazy. It's like they'll cry for Jesus. Like, yeah, it's like they win a knuckle
Black
fight.
people, they'll thank Jesus for all their
Yeah,
accomplishments.
they bring it up a lot.
Yeah, but he's not really in their life.
Their
Like Puerto
Jesus
Ricans,
is-
we bleed the blood of Christ.
If you were to take your average black guy and you'd be like, "Do you love Jesus?" You'd be like, "Yeah, I love Jesus." You go, "Jesus or a new pair of Nikes?"
Right.
Okay. Then you put it like that. Then you find out.
But like with any religion, the strength is in the women, and a black woman will throw herself in the casket saying, "Jesus, take me with him."
Right.
And like to me, that's the woman I want in my life that's going to dive in the hole because
So
I'm dead.
that's it. Before you die, you just want to find a black chick who's
Yeah,
going to
you're
jump
just
in
gonna
your.
dive in the hole, and everybody has to drag her out. You can't go on without me. Dives back in. But
Maybe
yeah,
Italian will do that for you too.
Puerto Ricans are good Catholics, and that's
great.
different.
I would say great Catholics.
The Irish have been at this for a long time.
Yeah, before you even thought about it, there were Catholics. Before there was a Puerto Rico. Back when it was just the Indian side of your family.
What was it before it was Puerto Rico?
There was a bunch of Indians living there, and that's where your blood comes from. Your blood comes from Spanish people and Indians.
Interesting.
The Spanish
know that?
dominated
I
the
know
Indians.
nothing about my own culture.
Do you ever see the amount of feathers in the Puerto Rican Day Parade? You know you're Indians, right? You get that.
I thought they were eating pigeons.
Greatest Puerto Rican of all time.
Louis J. Gomez.
No, seriously.
I can't name another Puerto Rican. I have no culture at all.
Chris will get this.
Benicio del Toro.
Is he Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
First of all, you're all nuts. It's Roberto Clemente.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. He hits his 3,000th hit. Then he's flying to take care of people and bring them food and water because they were in some kind of earthquake. And the plane goes down. Boom. Drops the mic. He's out. Greatest of all time. That's the way you want to die. Right after your career accomplishment, plane goes down. And you're doing something good. You're trying to help children at the time.
Desi Arnaz.
He's Cuban.
Okay.
Now, worst Puerto Rican of all time?
Luis J. Gomez.
It would be all the rest of it.
The Bronx.
Where's your family from in Puerto Rico?
I don't know.
You don't have you been back?
Yeah, well, I went as like a white tourist.
White?
Yeah, I mean, I lived like the whites in Puerto Rico. I went to a resort. I fed dogs through a fence.
Get off this resort, you brown animals.
I said hi to the children.
You didn't actually even go in the streets?
No. That's crazy. That's not true because I rented a house one time when I went. But that's what white people do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't even know what part of it that you're in. You don't even know where your people are from.
Ponce, that could be where it was, or that could be Stop in Hispanic or in Spanish.
Luis is really very white. He was raised by white people.
Yeah.
He listens to rock and roll music.
Half
Like he doesn't
Italian,
speak
Irish.
Spanish. I have to tell people this a lot when they're like, "You have a Puerto Rican friend?" And I go, No. He's like he's pretty white.
Let's not get it twisted. I wouldn't be friends with a Puerto Rican.
But you can pass for Puerto Rican. That's the lucky thing about you.
Well, I have the look, but I think I'm kind of racially ambiguous.
No.
I think I could be half black. I could be like some sort of Arab. I could be Jewish.
Yeah, everything.
Jewish?
Everything until you get to white.
No.
You're other.
Yeah.
That's what it
Because
is.
you have to admit, like, if Luis J. Gomez married into your family, the family's going to be talking about it when he's not there. You know what I mean?
Did you believe she married?
Can I tell you who hates me? Your new intern.
Why?
Hates my guts.
Why?
Do you hate Luis?
Spencer Berger?
Spencer.
Why?
Oh,
the Bergman. Yeah. Well, here's what happened. He came out to get us.
Yeah.
And he's like just trying to create small talk, which is just, it's great. Like he's really good at like going through the motions. Like he told us about his fucking commute and how he, I swear he went through the process of how he gets here. And we're like, all right, cool.
He takes the B, D, or the F.
So then Vito
That's
texted him being like, bring him in. And then he starts to bring us in. And then Vito texted him, wait, no, hold on for a second. And then I went to go take Spencer's phone from him to be like, Vito, shut the fuck up, you pussy. You're not going to tell me what to do. And Spencer, I mean, literally, I lost his mind.
Dude.
Like, wrestled the phone out of my hands.
Spencer spazzed out. It was amazing.
Spencer, I want you to know something. These are two big comedy guests, but I support you 1,000,000%. And if they decide never to do the show again and badmouth us to all their friends, I still support you.
Oh, well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Because you put the show first, and you put Vito
He does
first.
do that
That's my priority.
But Vito, why would you stop them? What was the purpose of stopping these guys?
I just wanted to make sure we were all ready.
We're ready anytime they come in.
Do you think about how amazing the moment that Luis was trying to create was when Vito would have looked at his phone and just seen, he'd been like, don't bring him in yet, and he sees, fuck off.
That was great.
Yeah. How amazing would that moment be like, did this fucking kid just...
And Spencer was like, he was like, no, he was like, dude, I could like lose my job over this. I was like, no, I would explain to Vito that it was me that did it. Vito, would you have been mad if I did that at Spencer?
No, I would have loved the moment of seeing that Spencer Berger just told me to fuck off. That would have been the highlight of my year.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that would be true, though. But, like, I mean, because this is, like, my first time in a real job here, I mean, I thought it wouldn't be really funny, though.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know, he's a professional.
Wait, this is your first time on the real job?
I mean, yes, it is. But you know what? It's really helping me expand, and it's really, you know, it's really
I'm
been a
freaking
comfortable
out,
and great
man.
environment.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you had gotten fired from Bennington because you sent Vito a text telling him to fuck off, that would have been the most epic story ever. But whatever, I wouldn't want that.
I guess now I know. Maybe if something like this happens, maybe if somebody else asks me to do it, maybe I'll do it.
The truth is, if someone else asked you to do it, we'd find it really odd.
This is coming up a lot.
Paul Feig just said, give me your phone. I want to write something. You're like, well, you make Ghostbusters. Why would you do that? Why are you doing that?
It was going to be a little funny moment on a comedy show, Spencer.
Yeah, that'd be true, though, yeah.
You know, now the last times I saw you guys, Skankfest, which did great, but I heard from everyone, and I was surprised to hear this, all the ideas, the creativity Louis J. Gomez.
Yeah.
Really?
All the ideas.
That is true.
It's Louis is the creative engine behind everything. With LOS, everything. He created the podcast. Every business decision, it's always Louis. Louis comes off like a real dummy. But,
Stupid as shit.
Yeah, you could just stop at that. That was
all right, that's it.
But it turns out he's the man behind the curtain.
He's got a very good business mind on him. Louis is a very good has vision for an idea. That he came up with the idea to do Skankfest. It was a big success, and he ran the whole thing with Rebecca and Christine. I mean,
well, they took my ideas. It was my ideas, and then they implemented them. It reminds me of a scene in that movie.
Dog Day Afternoon.
What's
White Men Can't Jump?
The Apple movie. Jobs. It reminds me of Steve Jobs.
God. This is why I can't give Louis one compliment to his face, because the next thing he goes, "Yeah, I consider myself the Steve Jobs of Legion of Skanks."
Well, you know, the one point where he was like, they were talking about how he didn't actually like create anything. Mm-hmm. And he's arguing with Steve Wozniak, and he's like, dude, I fucking created the Apple, you know, this, that, the other. And he's like, listen to me. He was like, you're like a flutist in the orchestra, and you're the best flutist there is. He's like, I play the orchestra. That's me. I play the orchestra of Legion of Skanks and all the characters, and they're all amazing at their jobs.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Steve Jobs?
But it's a Puerto Rican rattlesnake that makes it all happen.
Dave J.
By the way, this is the only time someone will compare Legion of Skanks with the Apple computer.
That's true.
The thing that put home computing into every home.
Skankfest was my iPod.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Well, it went incredibly well, but the thing is that now, do you think that he comes up with the ideas because you and Jay are both lazy, and you could do the same things, but you don't bother?
I don't know if that's why he comes up with them, but I do think that's true.
Yeah,
they're the Puerto Ricans on the podcast.
Well, it's just like our grandfather's generation worked so hard. We're going to let you guys catch up for a little.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Maybe Louis was always the one. Like kind of like the idea guy and the guy pushing like, oh, we should do this, we should write a thing, or we should record a thing, or we should do that. So, and me and Jay just kind of show up. And
whose idea to dump Anthony? And once you were done, you know,
I mean, take a guess. This
why?
I wanted to stand by him.
They executed it though. They picked up the fucking phone and made the phone call.
He put you on the map.
Yeah.
He called me crying that night.
That's a good point. We should have been more loyal to him, because I know the organization you work for always stood behind him 100%. So that's...
Louis J. Gomez and Dave Smith.
There's that awkward moment plug.
Our performance
You know
night
this business.
at the Raven Lounge in Philly. And tomorrow night, the Providence Comedy Connection in Providence, Rhode Island. Go to legionofskanks.com for tickets and additional dates. And on Twitter, it's at Louis J. Gomez and at Comic Dave Smith.
By the way, who's closing the show? How do you figure it out?
We haven't actually talked about that. I think we'll probably switch them up.
Yeah, we'll switch it up.
Who's closing in Philly?
That was my idea.
The idea, man. Jobs is here, everybody. Let's take a long look at the future through Louis J. Gomez's eyes.
That shit, Louis does his stand up with one of those side mic things.
You need a turtleneck. You need that turtleneck.
I wanted to read the book about him. His
didn't come in Spanish.
No, but then I just watched the documentaries on Netflix.
Yeah,
very good documentaries. Very inspired by Steve Jobs and everything that he does.
Why?
Why are you saying that like that's a special thing? Like you just figured this out.
Yeah. There's this guy. I don't know if you guys have heard of him.
He also wants to point out that he enjoys ice cream. Yeah, this is
something maybe you guys don't know about.
Yeah. You know what I liked about Jobs? I think he was the first guy who said, you know, I did acid before I started my, you know, like he gave credit to acid.
Yeah.
You know? Which
he did. He said dropping acid was one of the most important moments of his life.
Yeah.
And
it is important, but just think of how many people who did acid and don't come up with shit.
Yeah, most of them. To be honest.
Yeah. Most fucking people, or come up with machines that couldn't possibly exist.
Dude, I came up with a phone that calls God.
Vito, is Spencer doing okay when two major comedians prank him like that? Is he doing all right?
Yeah, he's doing great.
Good.
He's just having fun with the boys.
You tell me you got his back?
I got his back.
Spencer Berger is our guy for the summer.
Dude, he wrestled the phone out of my hand.
I love that.
He physically assaulted me.
He got so nervous when Louis had his phone. It was great.
Yeah.
He's a professional, that's why.
I like him very much.
I'm really proud of him now, too.
And I almost got offended because Vito texted him, I guess, and I saw the text. It said, watch your phone. And I took it as watch your phone around these guys.
How funny.
Like they're going to steal it.
But how much does that say something about Lewis? I take back him being white when I said it earlier. That is the most Puerto Rican. Because I would just right away, if you said watch your phone, it's like, yeah, keep an eye on your phone. I'm going to be texting you.
Nope.
Lewis took that immediately when he saw it said watch his phone. I was, it's calling me a thief.
I was like, oh, they know. And I gave him the phone. I wasn't going to steal it.
Wait a minute. I'm just saying, people are texting me. The same night that you are in Philly, Jay's going to be there.
No, Chicago.
With Soder.
No, Chicago.
With Soder.
No, not with Soder.
Oh, boy.
I get it.
Uncomfortable. Uncomfortable.
Yeah. That's his favorite show.
Well, let's face
Bonfire.
it. That Soder's on his way. I mean, Billions is a big show. He's got it. He did a big special. He's got it.
He's got an audition for Trillions.
Wow. No. Wow. And then, of course, Lewis is playing the Steve Yabs story. Hey, Steve Yabs. He was the idea. The Puerto Ricans had an idea like that, too. It's take off the third wall and let the ocean air come into
It's
the
true.
It's good.
Ah,
It's
that's
just
nice.
good.
It's God's air conditioning.
Do you consider yourself a Catholic to this day?
No.
Not at all?
No. I don't believe in any of that stuff.
What's going to happen when you die, Lewis?
I think that's it. I don't think there's any spiritual thing. I don't think you float up into the skies. I don't think you see your loved ones. I think you become dirt.
Dirt?
Yeah.
Out of everything that you could be.
I don't think even atheist scientists believe that. Like, you just become dirt.
Oh, honey, don't worry. When you die, you become dirt. Now get some sleep.
I'm officially soil. Yeah.
Like, dirt. Like, the dog's piss in. Dirt. When did you turn your back on your religion, or is this...
I remember when I told my mom that I wasn't religious anymore. She cried.
Yeah.
When
did you tell her she was going to be dirt one day?
Like, Mom, nothing happens. We become dirt. Just deal with it. You're dirt. I'm dirt. We're all dirt. No. I mean, I didn't turn my back. I mean, I was raised a shitty Catholic. I was raised Catholic.
Shitty Catholic?
Yeah, it was like we would go to church on Easter Sunday and on Christmas for midnight mass. And that was it. You can't, I mean, you're not a fucking real practicing Catholic if you just do that.
That's literally what the Pope says.
Yeah.
You're not a real fucking practicing Catholic.
You piece of shit.
Yeah. New Year's Eve is Christmas Eve Mass.
Midnight Mass.
Yeah.
Midnight Mass is the only Mass you're allowed to be drunk at. And that's why it is incredibly popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
could just show up there, toast it, and it's fine.
I always did want to drink the blood of Christ. I never got old enough where they would allow me.
Wine. You drank plenty of it.
But when I was a little kid, I would go to church and I would see, everyone going up and having a sip of wine, and I always wanted it. I got to the wafer, but I was never. What is the age where they start giving you the wine? Is it 21? It can't be.
No. It isn't. And it isn't.
It depends how cool your priest is.
Right. Well, they're kind of cool, but again, that's where that drunk mass
Go
comes
ahead,
into.
have another sip of blood.
Are you, Dave? I know that you do Fox News. Are you into the election or not really caring?
I think this one's really fascinating. It's if nothing else, I mean, I think this is a really fun one.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's like it's better than anyone. If you were just making a funny cartoon of what this election could be, you couldn't have done a better job.
I think it's unbettable right now too.
Yeah.
I don't care. I mean, I talk to people all the time. They say Trump can't win because he's running such a lousy campaign, but it's a different kind of campaign. That's why.
Yeah, look at what he's done. If you don't, I can't believe any of these conventional people are still sitting back going, no, he's not doing it conventionally. Look what he's done. It's amazing. And they just had new polls out, I think yesterday or today, where he's up in some of the major swing states. She's still got to debate this slippery orange maniac 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be. Have you seen when people tried to debate him?
Yeah.
Before, it's very tough.
Because he doesn't need to say the same thing. Like, he's not holding himself to the same standard.
He'll say crazy. He said Ted Cruz's dad was there when Kennedy got killed. He's going to say crazy
that
shit.
one I still believe, though.
He might be
really
right.
don't.
Ted Cruz dropped out like 24 hours later. Ted Cruz didn't even deny it. He was just like, I'm going back to the Senate. I'll see you later. I think his dad killed Kennedy.
I think he was there at least. I think he was probably holding something for some. I don't think he had the gun, but I think he was probably holding the case.
And that was difficult because he was just coming off of the Zodiac killer rumor as well. So he was really taking quite a few punches.
But he just said Ginsburg's minor shot. That kind of shit is always funny. But people who follow regular campaigns say that you've got to have a crew out there. You've got to, do these certain things. But when you bring up the debates, how could anyone have not made up their mind between these two candidates? Like, I don't care who says they're a Trump person because they hate Hillary or who's a Hillary person because they hate Trump. But anyone who goes like, I'm still waiting to say, after a year and a half, how I feel. You're wasting our time.
And isn't that person so weak? Like, that's a very impressionable person then. Because that just means the last thing that you hear is going to be how you made up your mind. Because there's been tons of information for the past at least year.
Yeah, but you can never underestimate like how dumb people are. People are really, and like the average voter is really, really dumb.
I always say that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, the reason why something will spike is because they'll see that something's moving and they just jump on. It's like they're trying to, instead of vote for who they want, pick the winner. And that's really fucking psycho.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like Trump is going to win. I'm going to vote for Trump.
That's a very American. I was saying that about MMA. It's like we don't give a shit what country you're from. We just care about who's winning. So if it's George St. Pierre or Anderson stuff, it doesn't even matter. It's like we just want to be behind the winning team. That's
Is that
a very
right?
American way of thinking of things.
Yeah, and MMA really shows it quickly because they won't fight. They fight like once every 6 months or something like that. So it'll be a guy who's like unbeaten and everyone's like, yeah, he's incredible. Conor McGregor or something like that. And then he loses once and everyone's like, yeah, he's a bum. I told you he couldn't go to the ground or whatever. They such bandwagon.
It's always interesting after any sporting event of how obvious it was in hindsight. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a gambler, you look at the NFL games and you're like, how did I not see that? Of course they were going to fucking blow up the Jets.
Worst fucking feeling in the world.
You ever have a good weekend, though?
No, never. Well, no, I had
bad.
one. Had the Super Bowl last year. I actually had the Broncos.
Well, you did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
One time all season long.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Did you collect a little money?
Yeah,
Eastside Dave never lost the game.
That's fucking crazy.
The entire thing. You remember Eastside Dave.
For a full year?
Yeah. Well, no, throughout the entire
playoffs. He called every game.
Eastside Dave, Eastside Dave.
I went out, I think, week 1 this year in your
that's coming up soon, right?
I did real good the year before.
Yeah.
I was down to like the last
Final Four.
Final Four or something.
Wow,
like that.
that's
Then
great.
last year I just...
But then remember last year, it was like a bloodbath. Within the first 2
I know,
weeks,
it really sucks. You set
we
it all
lost
up.
like 80%
I know.
of the
Fucking
people because it
terrible.
was like 2 really big upset weeks, right?
Who
Is that-
won last year? I think the Seahawks. Casey Balsham won last year.
Yeah. And it was
After like week 4 or 5.
It's not like she's a football genius. So she's definitely.
I was lucky.
Yes.
She's picking the teams based off the color of their uniforms.
Actually, it was weird because towards the end there were a lot of women left,
I know.
and like in that way, I was thinking, and then everyone was saying, "Yeah, I was just guessing," because like almost the people who knew too much about football,
knowing football means nothing. It's like those NCAA tournaments. Knowing the sport means nothing.
No,
you might as well pick off the color of the uniform.
Yeah, you should just a blind pick and just see what happens. But the women this year were picking by fuckable QBs, and there's so few. There's really so few in the league. Football really doesn't even get the kind of groupies that other sports get.
Well, I think it's like it doesn't help. I just don't think the body type is there.
It's
like
also there's not
soccer. They have incredible bodies.
They wear the
Football's
helmets
like
too, so they all just seem like there's no individuality.
And the pads.
Yeah, you're like they all kind of just seem just one big giant fucking black guy just running down the field. Nobody wants that. You want to see the entire package. You want to see their face, their bodies.
Okay, you just made me sound a lot more racist.
Their butts, right?
What did you just do, Caitlin? What did you transfer on us?
But if you're picking a dude, don't you want This like in the summertime, chicks are so hot because we get to see so much skin. Yeah. You want to see skin. You don't want to pick based off.
Sounds like he was an NBA groupie for 3 years. You get their hotel room number from the front desk, and then you just go on up.
Their ass, the back of their balls.
You get what I'm saying, though?
I mean, a good calf. You got to see a good calf.
What are you looking for in a man, Louis? That's what we're asking.
I want to see what I have. I don't want to just see a friggin' futuristic uniform. You want to see shoulder pads. You want to see fucking meat.
So what sport would you bang first if suddenly you got the urge?
Who's the hottest athletes? Because she did say something about soccer players.
Yeah.
But I think MMA guys are the hottest, are they not?
Nope. Well, a lot of them are freakish, and they get injured very quickly. Like their faces get fucked up.
Yeah, but doesn't that add a little bit of an appeal for you?
Yeah, but I think that the aggression might be too...
You know what? This is the thing with Lewis. He's gone for prison hot. That's a good idea. I
that
think that
makes
when a
sense for
guy is looking for, like Lewis is looking for somebody that can protect him in prison.
I get it. Lewis has a bad boy thing.
Yes,
That's what he's,
yeah.
he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Steve Jobs both.
That
was his style.
Loves Steve Jobs.
No one ever said in their interview with Steve Jobs, what dude would you fuck? I mean, if you had to.
If you had to.
Did Steve Jobs, he would do a question and answer segment at the end of his presentations. I'm surprised he never got that thrown at him.
Yeah. I don't think anyone, this is the thing about Steve Jobs, I don't think anyone ever felt close to him, ever. You know what I mean?
That's not true.
Who?
His secretary. According to that movie.
That movie, she was bitching him out and like
Gillian
ashamed of
Anderson?
him.
Yeah, remember?
Yeah, she was ashamed of him.
She points out that he missed something.
Yeah,
in the
but she
Time
was his
magazine.
closest friend.
But what did she say? You won't even fucking go to your daughter.
Yeah.
That's from, she actually said this in the movie. I was crying. She goes, that's your jizz. That's walking around. He's your jizz. It was so fucking sweet.
Sorkin's amazing.
How come you're not plugging? The boys are out on the big road.
You're right. Louis J. Gomez and Dave Smith are in studio. They're performing tonight at the Raven Lounge in Philly and tomorrow night at the Providence Comedy Connection in Providence, Rhode Island. Go to legionofskanks.com for tickets and additional dates. And on Twitter, it's at Louis J. Gomez and at Comic Dave Smith.
And where else are you guys going?
We're going to be in D.C. on Friday, Chicago Saturday, Indianapolis Sunday, Monday Nashville, and Tuesday driving home from Nashville.
Is this a motorcycle tour? You're going to be on the back of Dave holding on to his waist?
No, I've got one of the
So
sidecars. I'm in the sidecar like a dog. They put a little helmet on me and glasses.
And we also got Rob Mayu on the tour with us, and Zach Amico is going to be in Philly with us. So
Sweet,
it's going to be a really packed motorcycle.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun, though. It's very, very, it's very cool. Let's break here. Can you guys hang out for a little bit?
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to break here. Right back. This is the Bennington Show.
Let Bennington know how you feel. Call 844-ROCK-GOD on Raw Dog 99, Sirius XM's Comedy Club.
It's the Bennington Show. 2/3 of the skanks are here. As far as I can say right now, the rhythm section of the skanks. The guys that hold the band together. And Chris, you can see these fellas out on the road.
They're performing tonight at the Raven Lounge in Philly and tomorrow night at the Providence Comedy Connection in Providence, Rhode Island. You go to legionofskanks.com for all additional tour dates and for tickets.
Yeah, because they're going to be all over the place, which is a blast for you guys, I imagine, right?
Yeah.
Good times.
I love going on the road.
But compared to road comics, right? How much are you guys out there?
Well, road comics will be out there. There's some guys who are just out there. Yeah, literally the entire year. They're out there. So me and Lewis are like New York City comics. Yeah. We'll be out like a week, maybe a week, a month or something like that out on the road. So 3 out of 4 weeks home.
It's really amazing, though. But you're right. There are some guys who've made a good living for many years who never think about getting on TV, nothing, just hit those clubs.
Well, a lot of them almost in a way get trapped into it because you get, you could make like 50, 60K a year, maybe like fairly early in comedy doing that. And then maybe you got a kid or something like that.
House
and you're payments. Like, so you got, you kind of have to make that. And it's tough to just go to New York and go, well, why don't you go for 3 years, make 20 grand in New York and really struggle, but try to get in. Yeah. It's kind of tough. It's guys like me and Lewis, we did it in our 20s. And so that's, but Lewis did it really before he had a kid.
It kind of reminds me when Steve Jobs left Apple the first time.
He didn't leave. He was fired.
Well, he left.
Lewis identifies with Jobs so much that he defends all of his stuff.
It was his decision ultimately. He was in control of his own destiny.
When he decided to respect the decision of the board.
When he left with that little cardboard box with a lamp and a plant and shit. I would never work at a place where I bring in anything personal. I'll be walking out just with my fucking jacket on and that's it. And a fuck you behind me. I don't want to go clean out the office while a guard watches me. I've seen people do that. Like they'll be at a place for years.
Oh, that's
and a
rough.
guard is standing there.
I worked at a place like that security actually escorted them out. Whether they were fired, whether they quit, they had to be
I got
escorted
escorted out for my last day
marriage,
job. Fatherhood, career, everything. No, my last day job, I got fired. I was working at New York Health and Racket Club, which is a gym here in the city.
Sure.
And what I used to do is I used to live like 2 blocks away from the gym. So I would put my phone at my desk on forwarding to my cell phone and I would just sleep in all morning. So one time my boss calls me and he's like, "Oh, how's it going today?" I'm like, I'm doing pretty good. I was working these leads. And then he's like, he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm sitting at your desk right now." He called me from my own desk. And then they fired me.
What side of the desk are you on? I'm over here by the right side.
And I had to come in and they're like, yeah, clean out your desk. And they like had security watch me. Like, what the fuck am I going to take from a gym as I leave?
Some towels.
Still a shake weight. You can't walk out with anything.
Yeah.
You know what I did see when I worked at another gym? I worked at Equinox, and I stole The Rock's phone number. And there was another celebrity. Who was the guy in
What were you going to do? Just call The Rock?
Yeah, I did.
That was your plan? Just to call The Rock, maybe become friends?
Just to hear his voice.
Yeah.
And then who was the guy in The Hangover?
Galifianakis.
No, the good-looking guy. Cooper. Bradley Cooper. And I called Bradley Cooper up just to hear him say hello. And I hung up like a schoolgirl.
What are you, a 14-year-old chick? You called just to hear his voice?
It was a thrill.
Hello, this is The Rock. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I think calling Bradley Cooper is far weirder than calling The Rock.
Oh, yeah.
I really do.
Everyone in this room would call The Rock.
Yeah.
So shut up.
Yeah,
please.
I got that. But calling Bradley Cooper, that's strange.
Yeah.
I mean, after the show's over, I'm going to ask Lewis if he still has The Rock's number. I kind of want to talk to him.
Rock has to change his number 3 times a week because of the amount of gyms that he belongs to. I've got The Rock's number right here.
Yeah. So maybe that's why they escorted me out. They knew what I was going to do.
Yeah, that's fucking odd, Lewis. I have to say that's odder than you going through which sport you'd bang and ending up with,
MMA.
Yeah.
They're fucking hot bodies.
You set a high bar for odd, but then you break it.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that you getting boned by these guys. I mean, you're not going to fucking turn Lesnar into a bottom. You know what I mean? You're going.
Oh, no. I'm not getting boned by the guys. I'm doing the boning.
You can't.
All right. Well, pick out. Give us a guy that you would bang.
Who's your guy?
Yeah. Who's
my
your
guy?
dude?
Well,
should be Lesnar.
No, I mean, I really. Forget an MMA guy. If I'm just gonna bang, if I have to,
I just really love
one man's asshole.
I love the visual of Brock Lesnar being a bottom. I gotta say, there's something about that.
He'll just break your dick off with his ass. It's got to be Brad Pitt from Snatch. He's the dude.
But you get to go to a time end place.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
You can't bang him today.
Well, because he's like a fighter.
It's weird because
he's Brad Pitt and he's like an awesome backyard.
Right, but the thing is, Ron asked you a question about what MMA guy you'd want to bang, and then you just inserted this pre-existing fantasy that you had about someone else in there. You're like, can we widen the net? Like,
yeah.
I mean, come on.
Not anybody.
Imagine Brad Pitt was an MMA fighter with an Irish brogue.
Just imagine.
But I would think that you would pick Brad Pitt in a River Runs Through It, where he had a girly face.
Legends of the Falls. Come on, that's the Brad Pitt we want to pick.
He had the long
That's
hair.
gay. This guy's. I'm going to learn how to be a man from this guy while we're having sex.
You're telling me Brad Pitt and you want to bang him? He's a bottom, and you're not going to pick Legends of the Fall, Brad Pitt?
Nope.
Oof,
Too much like a woman.
That's
Yeah, that's the point, dude. If I'm banging Brad Pitt, I want to know that I'm banging Brad Pitt, not Gwyneth Paltrow.
So you wouldn't be in a three-way.
He wants it to count. Like if he's got this one.
Well, yeah,
time.
you're gonna turn him around. He's got that long, flowing blonde hair. It's like I could just be banging a chick for this.
All right, Vito, who would you pick? You had to bang a guy.
Well,
Spencer.
We've all talked about
No, HR get involved.
We've all known that I think Zac Efron's in great shape, but then you got Ryan Gosling. It's between those two.
Jesus.
I've heard you talk about Zac Efron, and I hope that's your pick because it is very uncomfortable.
Zac Efron's just like a one-night fling, and Ryan Gosling's like a long-term relationship.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
The way
Efron's
he
jacked now.
Yeah,
Jesus.
the way he talks about his body.
I'll just say this, Zach, if you leave here without getting laid today, it's your fault. Because you've got plenty of fucking opportunities in this room. What about for you, Chris?
Oh, I think like Kevin Spacey.
Shut up.
What's wrong with Kevin Spacey? What the fuck? He's a talented man.
You respect his talent? That is the gayest thing anyone's ever said.
No, it's Spacey. He's a great.
If you're gonna bang a dude for how good he is at acting, that's gayer than just banging a hot guy.
What's your dirty talk going to be in bed?
The Kaiser Soze shit, you know? The guy's
do you want him to come in with the limp?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And leave walking straight.
Yeah, he'll fix his limp.
Yeah. Spacey out of everyone.
Yeah, Spacey.
So bizarre.
I feel like he's underrated these days.
Yeah, he's never gotten any attention with that whole House of Cards thing.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm talking about movies.
Oh, you're mad that he's not a movie star anymore. He's
Because I don't watch
fucking
House of
Netflix.
Cards.
Why?
I don't know.
Because he uses a southern accent?
Yeah, I don't fucking get that.
I do declare. It's like old-timey Southern.
Mine stayed the same since forever, Dicka. I'm just not not getting off Mike Dicka. That's the guy. No, there's no sense of even asking you, Gail, which woman.
I have to pick one, or
Yeah.
I mean,
Finally,
it's not.
for once in your life, pick one. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no point. I find most women, like most attractive women, I would be like, yeah.
God, you do take after your dad. It doesn't matter. Now, when you're very comfortable with this, Lois, when you make these kind of statements, and I know you and Jay have done many what I would call borderline activities.
Nope.
Never?
Disagree. That's us being funny.
Yeah.
If we're doing gay shit to be funny, there's nothing gay about it. So I don't even call it a borderline gay activity. I'd say going to a movie with a man and enjoying your time with him is gayer than making out with Jay for a bit.
No, I'm going to go with making out with Jay being gayer.
Yeah.
Because when I go to a movie with my friend, we just watch the movie. We don't do gay stuff.
Now,
we're making out with him.
Opie actually said that he doesn't believe in the spot between two guys, that he likes to sit right next
Yeah.
to. And I'm still a spot between two guys just to spread your shit out. You know
right.
what I mean?
That's not anything to do with gay.
Nothing
not
to
gay.
do with gay, nothing gay, but I want there to be an empty spot so I can enjoy the movie.
I'm with Opie on this. Opie, who I very much like and respect. He's now that I'm away from Ant, I can say these things.
Yeah.
But I've never been a space between. So come on, let's be boys. I want to feel
Are you
your
space
elbow.
between in the
in between
urinals?
the seats. No.
No,
What
this
about
is
the urinal?
Well,
No.
yes, in the urinals, you always have.
Sure.
I always go right next to the guy that's peeing just to fuck with him.
You want to go sharesies?
Yeah, you're not fucking with them. You're doing your own thing.
I rub my foot against his.
Are you a space between?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Space, urinal.
Vito?
No, I like getting close.
What?
See, it looks like the whole space between is like an older generation thing. People don't do it anymore. Guys cuddle up when they watch a movie now.
This was confusing to me when I heard this conversation because I thought for some reason the trough was the standard, but that's not the thing. It's not.
No. There hasn't been a trough really
I thought
since the
that was-
1930s.
I thought that the trough isn't there like
No.
one big
There's
thing?
there's urinals with actually even little boards.
Dividers.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since women have been in the workplace, there haven't been troughs in men's bathrooms.
It's true. The last
I
one was
imagine it in there.
the fucking waist shirt project or whatever that was that caught on fire.
Triangle shirtwaist.
Yeah. Now the urinals is already set up. You go 4 when there's 4 empty, right?
Okay.
You go to the 4th. Next person comes in would go to the 1st, right? So where does the next person come in when you're at 1 of 4?
Well,
At the
describe
far-
the two guys.
Well, you immediately go to the 3 because
Is he wearing
the
a
4
football
guy
uniform?
is going to stop
Right.
peeing soon enough.
Exactly.
So you're not going to spend as much time there. And now a guy who comes in and it's 1 and 3, he has to think to himself, do I go in the 2 since 1's going to be done, but now I'm still next to the other
Now,
guy?
I'd go stall a lot of times if there's not a
Shut
urinal
up.
without like someone next to
You
it.
don't feel weirder about like going like, dude, hey everyone, just so you know, I don't want to look at your dicks. I'm going in the stall now.
Well, when I make that
agree.
announcement, it's weird.
I agree.
That part is definitely
Going into the stall to pee
It seems
is
like you're hiding something.
Well, yes, you've either got a pee problem that you can't pee
Pee
if
shy.
other people are pee shy,
I'm a little pee shy.
or are you really?
Yeah, I'm a little bit pee shy. Like if you just, it'd be hard for me if everyone was watching me to just piss in front of them.
like
A
face
little
on.
bit, yeah, it'd be tough.
Like we're just like
I'd be like, go away so I can pee. Like,
Yeah, you got to overcome that though.
I'm working on it.
This is your world. Now, Fez was always pee shy, and I would do 2 things. Number 1, if he was in the bathroom, I was there, I'd pull his shirt up. 2, I'd have my hand wet and be like throwing it in his face, going, "Excuse me, sorry, it's getting out of control." And both times he goes, "Now I can't pee." Even if you said, "What's up, dude?" he'd be like, "I can't pee," and he also stood so close that I think that he was hitting fucking ceramic. That's how close he was to the urinal.
really.
Yeah.
He's afraid of other men seeing his penis.
Now, I worked with another guy who, even though we were at a football game, so we're all lined up to use the urinal, he drops his full pants and underwear to piss.
That's like what a toddler does.
So his ass was out
Holy shit.
as he was taking a piss. And I was fucking cracking up. I thought, this is the greatest moment of my life. And he goes, I don't want to get any fucking piss anywhere on my pants or whatever. I'll leave my ass out for a while.
You're more likely to mess up your pants by them getting on the floor.
It seems really disgusting.
Like
Men's bathroom floor.
This is what's always great about comics is they will go to the other, like comics and lawyers will go to the exact argument immediately, no matter what the social norm is, where most people go, well, live and let live, a comic will immediately try to look for the logical thing of why that person needs to change their life. Chris, I'd like to get a couple.
Louis J. Gomez and Dave
These
Smith are in
guys-
studio. They're performing tonight at the Raven Lounge in Philly and tomorrow night at the Providence Comedy Connection in Providence, Rhode Island. Go to legionofskanks.com for tickets and additional dates. And on Twitter, it's at Louis J. Gomez and at Comic Dave Smith.
No, you would have Jay there, but his agent stopped him.
Mm-hmm. His agent stopped him.
By the way, this is a job for your management to call his agent. So what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they dropped the ball. Maybe I should blame them.
Yes. What would Jobs do? Ask yourself that.
He was go to India, drop some acid, meditate a little bit on it.
Why don't you go to Indiana and smoke a joint and see if that doesn't work
See?
for you? Poor man's Jobs. So who's your Wozniak?
Who's on? I feel like I'm my own Wozniak.
Oh my God.
I feel like I'm Jobs and Wozniak all rolled up into one. It's not these fuck faces. They do nothing.
I think of myself as Jobs, Wozniak, a little bit of Obama, a pinch of Mao.
They just show up. What am I going to say? I can't give them credit when it's not due.
You're the idea, man. I've heard that from other people.
It's true.
But the ladies turn around and do the actual work. You explain that.
That's called society.
Yeah, they push the buttons and pull the levers, but I'm the one telling them which buttons and which levers to pull.
Now, you even sound like a dick in that analogy that you made. Push that button.
Pull that lever, stupid.
All right, we got to wrap this one up. Great to see you guys. Let's not wait so long before you come back.
Absolutely.
Chris, let's take a little break from you.
All right. Louis J. Gomez and Dave Smith are performing tonight at the Raven Lounge in Philly. Zach and Mika will be there. And tomorrow night at the Providence Comedy Connection in Providence, Rhode Island. Go to legionofskanks.com for tickets and digital dates. Legion of Skanks is live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. East, available on iTunes and the Gas Digital Network. On Twitter, it's at Louis J. Gomez and Comic Dave Smith.
And by the way, I got to ask this since the Unmasked. Is Jay that web that holds all you guys
It's
together?
infuriating. It's infuriating. You were like, oh yeah, Dan Soder and Louis J. Gomez would never hang out, and Jay's like, yeah, these guys, I fucking make them all friends. I knew Dan for 4 years before Jay.
But
4 years, we were close friends.
They hang out all the time.
Me and Dan
they
hang
wrote
out.
a script together.
I'm closer to Dan than I am to Jay. It's insanity to me.
So how did he get the idea that he's that guy? He's the straw that stirs the drink.
He's a delusional narcissist, but we love him. But he's the funniest guy.
His own story of what's really going on. Jay fucking, he's a mother hen.
When he said that, I completely believed him. I go, oh, that makes sense. Everybody else would hang out together. He's like, yeah, you're right. They would never be together.
I've been friends with Dave since I was 19 years old. I met Dan when I was 22. Not even exaggerating.
Well, but would you still be friends if it wasn't for Jay?
Probably not.
I say this: Jay dies, you guys don't even talking. You don't even show up for the funeral. All right, that's it for us. See you back here tomorrow, or in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!